Say it isn't so hard to hear the things I have to say. Say that I'm just a fool to think there's something in the way. I can always call you. I could never call you. Say I won't have to wait for some occasion to arise. Say the words I would say to you would come as no surprise. I could never tell you. I can only show you. One small chance, one thin line. No damn way I can conceive to say what's on my mind. I love you. Three small words, just the dumbest thing I'm sure you have ever heard. Each time I try to call, it feels absurd. Say the truth deep inside your soul will only set you free. Say this kind of exposure makes you just as scared as me. I can hear my own voice rehearsing all alone voice. Say if you saw me at my worst, you would
Hi.
return.
Hello! Hi everyone! I'm Zoe. I'm the streamer, video game boss gal. You know me. Are you down? In which case, so pleased to meet you. Hey, what the hey, hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. Why am I- hold on. Just hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. Something's not right. Something's very wrong. There we go. Okay. I wasn't aligned properly. I don't know why, but I am now, so it's all good. Nothing to worry about. Crisis averted, everyone. It could have destroyed the universe if I had done something about it. Probably, I don't know. But I did something about it, so now it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. Oh, hello, hand. Don't do that. I'm fine. How's everyone doing? I had a pretty uneventful day where I didn't really do much. And now we're here. Yeah, no, not much to say. Just ate a whole pile of ribs. That's a lot, I think. I've had ribs once. Shush. Maybe later, maybe during break. Shush. How you doing, optional? My nose is itchy, right? That usually doesn't start right at the start. Annoying. Ribs are really good, so I've heard, and they were pretty good when I first had them, but they're like extremely greasy, and it's heavy. It's heavy to eat. Do you know what I mean? Heavy. Hello, hello, hand. Jealous. You're jealous of optional, I assume, right? For eating all of this. I know you ate a whole pile of ribs. You just said that already. That's the second time you've said it. Anyway, today we're gonna. It's a book nook. So let me take you all. Come with me. What's that bit that I did last time? Come with me to my house and then out the back door. Hold on. Someone knocks on my door. Oh, who's that? I open the door to you. Oh, it's all of you. Oh, I was expecting you. Come in. I lead you into my home and I say, all right, come follow me. Come follow me over here and into my backyard. And we go through the backyard and there's birds outside, and then we're like, here is my little shack in the backyard. Let's come into my little book nook. Here we go, yay! Here we are in the book nook. Speaking of books, get out of here. There, you're done. Don't need you anymore. Loading screen book. We've got real book now. Here we go. Here's the real book. ASMR. So, when we last left off, we didn't do anything because we're just reading what Alice does. But Alice, she went through the looking glass, the mirror in the house, and she came into a different one, like the mirror version of her own room, and she fucked around with some chess pieces, read a great poem, she met some flowers that were kind of annoying, she met a queen that was weird but ultimately pretty nice. It was like, you can be a queen too if you make it all the way to the end of the board because you're just a little pawn, but if you know chess rules, you know that pawns can become queens. Haha, fun. And then she went and she was on a train and something about bugs. And then she was in a little shop with a goat, and then she was in a boat with a goat, which sounds like a Dr. Seuss story. And then she came into a forest where she forgot who she was, and she met a deer who also forgot it was a deer. And then, oh yeah, and then she met Tweedledee and Tweedledum, who were like, yo, we're gonna fight. And then they did, kind of, but it was kind of shitty. And then the crow showed up, remember that? And then she met the White Queen, who was very nice, but very clumsy and weird. And then she left, and I think that's the last thing that happened. I did it in the wrong order. The goat was the last thing that happened. But I think that's everything. Oh, and the Mad Hatter's in jail. And now she's gonna meet an egg. She's gonna meet Humpty Dumpty now. Oh, spoilers. I'm so sorry. It says spoiler. But she's gonna meet Humpty Dumpty, which is not that much of a spoiler because it's the name of the chapter. So, egg time. Can I offer you all a nice egg in this trying time? Oh, and also, can I offer you some music? Here we go. There we go. Turn the volume down a little. It should be good. Officer. Well, you're still lurking, so you're still here. In a way. Good luck with your classes. Bye-bye. And, thanks for coming. As always, thanks everyone for coming, by the way. I appreciate all of you very much. Okay, so, let's get to it. Chapter 5. Yes, 5. That's how many fingers that is. Irune, hello. Hello. Chapter 5, Humpty Dumpty. Okay, this starts mid-sentence because it's fucking Alice in Wonderland, so I have to go back to the previous chapter. Blah, blah, blah. So she went on, wondering more and more at every step, as everything turned into a tree the moment she came up to it, and she quite expected the egg to do the same. It's even earlier. When the fuck did she see the egg for the first time? Oh, right. Oh, yeah. So she was in the shop with the goat. Remember that? The goat in the shop? And then she... And she was like, I'll have an egg. I'm gonna buy an egg. And then the shop goat is like, okay, it's over there. And she points to where the egg is, and Alice has to walk towards it. And and the shop is like made of trees and stuff. So she's like, What? She can't get to it, and everything looks like a tree, and she thinks that the egg is also going to be a tree when she gets to it. And now we're gonna go to the next chapter, which is chapter 5, Humpty Dumpty. I was gonna say egg. Chapter 5, egg. However, the egg only got larger and larger and more human. When she had come within a few yards of it, she saw that it had eyes and a nose and a mouth. And when she had come, nope, that's the same sentence. No, yeah, what? Oh no, I'm just reading it wrong. When she had come within a few yards of it, she saw that it had eyes and a nose and a mouth. And when she had come close to it, she saw clearly that it was Humpty Dumpty himself. That's all caps. It can't be anybody else, she said to herself. I'm as certain of it as if his name were written all over his face. It might have been written 100 times easily on that enormous face. Humpty Dumpty was sitting with his legs crossed at the top of a high wall, such a narrow one that Alice quite wondered how he could keep his balance. Okay, fun fact: that he has his legs crossed, that goes against Alice in Wonderland convention, because Humpty Dumpty always has his legs spread because it makes him more stable in the wall and less likely to fall. It's a thing. It was like a thing that like all official illustrations of Humpty Dumpty for Alice in Wonderland should have him with the legs spread because it makes him less likely to fall. That's a real thing. That's real. So this is a bad adaptation. Although, no, wait, the story, the writing is the same, but it's also drawn that way. So, unless I'm remembering it wrong, it's actually the other way around. I don't know. I might be wrong, honestly. Yeah, the hidden Humpty Dumpty. Remind me to check. No, actually, don't remind me. I'm gonna check it right now. I'm gonna check it right now. We're gonna figure this out together. I'm gonna get the annotated Alice in Wonderland, which is where I read that in. So I'll be right back. Okay, hi, I'm back. So, I've got here, yeah, big book, big, large. Here I go. There's no fucking place for this book. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. It's the deer. Dum. Almost at the egg. Egg time. Egg time, egg time, egg time, Humpty Dumpty. Okay. Let's see. Where does it say? Neither Tennille nor Newell, Everton Blyther points out in a letter, shows Humpty sitting with his legs crossed, a position which would make his perch more precarious. I am right. But, that said, yeah, in the writing, the actual story itself, in the words, letters, you know those? You know what letters? It does say that he's sitting with his legs crossed, so that is interesting. So even though no official illustration shows him with his legs crossed, that is how it's written. So does that make the illustrations in this book that I'm reading, that I'm using to read to you guys right now, the smaller one, does it make it more faithful or less faithful? You guys decide. Vote now in the comments below. Blah blah blah. Is it better to be faithful to the original illustrations or to the original writing? What do you guys think? Humpty Dumpty is just a Chucky. I guess so. I mean, he just likes is just more comfortable or whatever. I guess, you know, to sit with your legs crossed, maybe. No preference. You do you. Fair. Writing better more important than illustrations. I guess that is also how I'm thinking about it now, yeah. The writing did come first, that is true, yeah. I think I agree with that. I think him sitting with his legs crossed is funnier. It gives the impression that he just doesn't care. Let's find out if he does. So, it might have been written over 100 times, easily on that enormous face. Humpty Dumpty was sitting with his legs crossed on the top of a high wall, such a narrow one that Alice quite wondered how he could keep his balance. And as his eyes were steadily fixed in the opposite direction, and he didn't take the least notice of her, she thought he must be a stuffed figure after all. Moon Meadow, hello, welcome. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. And how exactly like an egg he is, she said aloud, standing with her hands ready to catch him, for she was every moment expecting him to fall. I need a voice for Humpty Dumpty. What would Humpty Dumpty sound like? Do an egg voice. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Hope you had a good King's Day, and also hope you're doing very well. I forgot that it's King's Day because I don't care. I'm Dutch according to my passport, and I like some parts of Dutch culture, but I'm very selective in which parts I like, and I don't care much for the king. What's the king ever done for me? I had a fine day though. I had an alright day. Hope you had a good King's Day if you do care. Only reason why I didn't forget King's Day is because I've got a day off. Okay, see that's the first thing. I saw that it was going to be King's Day this week, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember when I used to care about those because I had either school or a job or some shit, and I was just like, whatever, I don't care. Every day is the same. The sweets are nice. You got sweets? I didn't get fucking sweets. An egg voice is just a regular voice, but you pronounce your C's and K's like egg, crackings, shell cakes. I don't think I can do that, but that is fun. Also, apparently the king and his fam visited my city today. Oh, wow. They must be a big fan of yours. Okay, egg voice. Hey. Hello. No. I am Humpty Dumpty. That'll work. This is an egg voice now. This is an egg voice. And how exactly like an egg he is, she said aloud, standing with her hands ready to catch him, for he was every moment expecting him to fall. It is very provoking, Humpty Dumpty said after a long silence, looking away from Alice as he spoke, to be called an egg. Very. I said you looked like an egg, sir, Alice gently explained. And some eggs are very pretty, you know, she added, hoping to turn her remark into a sort of compliment. Some people, said Humpty Dumpty. But Humpty Dumpty is like a round figure. Should I do a round voice, or is that offensive? This is difficult. Yeah, that is rude, right? I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Who cares? Who fucking cares? Okay. Does it really matter that much? Some people, said Humpty Dumpty, looking away from her, as usual, have no more sense than a baby. Alice didn't know what to say to this. It wasn't at all like a conversation, she thought, and he never said anything to her. In fact, his remark was evidently addressed to a tree. So she stood and softly repeated to herself, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty in his place again. That last line is much too long for the poetry, she added, almost out loud, forgetting Humpty Dumpty would hear her. Don't stand chattering to yourself like that, Humpty Dumpty said, looking at her for the first time. But tell me your name and your business. My name is Alice, but that's a stupid name enough. Everyone is so fucking mean to her. All the time. Pretty much every single person she meets, except for the White Queen and the Red Queen was like kind of nice, but like everyone else is so fucking mean to Alice. The fly was nice. The gnat. It's a stupid name enough, Humpty Dumpty interrupted impatiently. What does it mean? Must a name mean something? Alice asked doubtfully. Good question. Hi, fuck you. Alice like she was bullying me for a moment. Oh, wait, do the thing. I got a little thing here. I've got a little controller in my hand. I can use it to change my expressions to the ones that I can't like make with my face. Like when I'm well, I won't do it now because it'll be insincere. But when I'm sad or I'm laughing, then I can use it. It's really nice. Dies of death. Don't do that. So cliche. She's got a punchable face, apparently. I guess she does. She got like a child face, so like I get it. Of course it must, Humpty Dumpty said with a short laugh. My name means the shape I am. And a good handsome shape it is too. With a name like yours, you might be any shape almost. Why do you sit out here all alone? Said Alice, not wishing to begin an argument. Why do you... no, wait. Why? Because there's nobody but with me, cried Humpty Dumpty. Do you think I don't know the answer to that? Ask another. Gone looking with sponge children. You heard it for first. I didn't say I want to punch them. I just said that they are very punchable. And we'll leave it at that. Where was I? Don't you think you'd be safer down on the ground? Alice went on, not with any idea of making another riddle, but simply in her good-natured anxiety for the queer creatures. He's got anxiety. You fucked up a cuppa. That wall is so very narrow. What tremendously easy riddles you ask? Humpty Dumpty growled out. Of course I don't think so. Why, if I ever did fall off, which there's no chance of, but if I did. Here he pursed up his lips and looked so solemn and so grand that Alice could hardly help laughing. If I did fall, he went on, the king has promised me. You may turn pale if you like. You didn't think I was going to say that, did you? The king has promised me, with his very own mouth, to send all his horses and all his men. Alice interrupted rather unwisely. Now I declare it's too bad, Humpty Dumpty cried, breaking into a sudden passion. You've been listening at doors and behind trees and down chimneys, or you couldn't have known it. I haven't indeed, said Alice very gently. It's in a book. So is this. I'm reading a book right now, don't you know? Oh, dude, I should have a punching emote. Why don't I have a punching emote? Why don't I have that? I need to make a punching emote. That's very important. So you can use that when I'm punching. I need to make a punching emote. Let it be known. Let it be known that Zoe needs to make a punching emote. Please remind me to do that. Why would I not? How have I not done that yet? It's like my main thing is that I punch stuff, and I don't have a punching emote. What kind of bullshit is that? How did I fuck that up so bad? Anyway, where was I? I have it indeed, said Alice very gently. It's in a book. Ah, well, they may write such things in a book, Humpty Dumpty said in a calmer tone. That's what you call a history of England, that is. Now, take a good look at me. I'm one that has spoken to a king, I am. Mayhap you'll never see such another. And to show you I'm not proud, you may trip over your words. You may shake your hands with me. Both? Shake your hands, not hand, just... both hands? Both hands? See my other hand? Both hands? Both hands. And I lost where I was. Hello, hand, that's fun. Hold hands with Humpty Dumpty? Blah, blah, blah. And he grinned almost from ear to ear as he leaned forwards, and nearly as possible fell off the wall in doing so, and offered Alice his hand. She watched him a little anxiously as she took it. If he smiled much more, the ends of his mouth might meet behind, she thought, and then I don't know what would happen to his head. I'm afraid it would come off. That would be morbid, and then his brain would come out. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. For you. That's weird. I feel like being in a relationship with Humpty Dumpty would be very strange. Can't like hug him good. If you hug him too hard, he dies. Nah, I think I'm good. I think I'll turn him down. Yes, all his horses and all his men, Humpty Dumpty went on. They'd pick me up again in a minute, they would. However, no wait, that's still my voice and still Humpty Dumpty talking. However, this conversation is going on a little too fast. Let's go back to the last remark, but one. I'm afraid I can't remember it, Alice said very politely. In that case, we start fresh, said Humpty Dumpty, and it's my turn to choose a subject. He talks about it just as if it was a game, thought Alice. So here's a question for you. This is for you, Chad. When he dies, you can make an omelet. Ah, friends with benefits, eh? You get an omelet out of it. Alice, so here's a question for you. How old did you say you were? How old did you say you were, Chad? Humpty Dumpty has asked it of you. And let's hear Alice's answer. Alice made a short calculation and said 7 years and 8 months. She's not even 8. I thought she was 8. She's 7. Fucking baby. The fucking child. Wrong! Humpty Dumpty exclaimed triumphantly. You never said a word like it. Alice is babu. She wants to punch her. Okay, listen. Alice is pretty punchable. We can all agree, right? She's bourgeoisie. She's pretty rude. She's pretty punchable. I think we can all agree on that. At least old enough to ask for extra ketchup. Dad, you're older than me. But it's like it's older more so in experience than age, right? Before you can ask for extra ketchup. You need like the confidence and such to do that. Wrong! Humpty Dumpty. I thought you meant how old are you? Alice explained. If I'd meant that, I'd have said it, said Humpty Dumpty. Alice didn't want to begin another argument, so she said nothing. 7 years and 6 months, Humpty Dumpty repeated thoughtfully. An uncomfortable sort of age. Now, if you'd asked my advice, I'd have said leave off at 7, but it's too late now. I never ask advice about growing, Alice said indignantly. Too proud? The other inquired. Alice felt even more indignant at this suggestion. I mean, she said, that one can't help growing older. One can't, said Humpty Dumpty, but 2 can. With proper assistance, you might have left off at 7. What a beautiful belt you've got, Alice suddenly remarked. They had quite enough of the subject of age, she thought, and if they really were to take turns in choosing subjects, it was her turn now. At least, she corrected herself on second thought, a beautiful cravat, I should have said. No, a belt. I mean, I beg your pardon, she said. She added in dismay, for Humpty Dumpty looked thoroughly offended, and she began to wish she hadn't chosen that subject. If only I knew, she thought to herself, which was neck and which was waist. Hi, Octocopi, hi. Alice, hello, yay, more Alice, two can. Two can. There's no toucans in this story. Two can. You just mean like because it's the second book? Alice 2? I get confused very easily. If only I knew, she thought to herself, which was neck and which was... Also, did I say hi yet? I think I said hi. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Evidently, Humpty Dumpty was very angry, though he said nothing for a minute or two. When he did speak again, it was in a deep growl. It is a most provoking thing, he said at last, when a person doesn't know a cravat from a belt. I know it's very ignorant of me, Alice said, in so humble a tone that Humpty Dumpty relented. It is a cravat, child, and a beautiful one, as you say. It is a present from the White King and Queen. There now. Is it really? Said Alice, quite pleased to find that she had chosen a good subject after all. They gave it to me, Humpty Dumpty continued thoughtfully, as he crossed one knee over the other and clasped his hands around it. They gave it to me for a birthday present. I beg your pardon, Alice said with a puzzled air. I am not offended, said Humpty Dumpty. I mean, oh no, wait, an unbirthday present. Excuse me so very much. I said it wrong. Not a birthday present, quite the opposite, in fact. An unbirthday present, don't you know? I'm sure you all know, of course, what an unbirthday present is. But Alice does not, so she's about to ask. Okay, let's go back to the story. They gave it to me. I beg your pardon, Alice said with a puzzled air. I'm not offended, said Humpty Dumpty. I mean, what is an unbirthday present? A present given when it isn't your birthday, of course. Alice considered a little. I like birthday presents best, she said at last. You don't know what you're talking about, cried Humpty Dumpty. How many days are there in a year? 665. 300. Oh my god, that would be crazy. 365, said Alice. And how many birthdays have you? One. And if you take one from 365, what remains? 364, of course. Humpty Dumpty looked doubtful. I'd rather see that done on paper, he said. Alice couldn't help smiling as she took out her memorandum book and worked the sum for him. She just has a little notebook with her, I guess. That's nice. Is that a thing? Was that just a thing that people had? I mean, if you were rich, obviously. But is that just like a rich thing? Do 7-year-old children carry books around with them? Anyway, and then there is indeed a little math. There's math in here. I'm slapping the math because I hate it. And it does indeed say that 365 minus 1 is 364. It's all right there, clear as day. And I can't do math, so I'm gonna assume that it's true, that it's accurate. Humpty Dumpty took the book and looked at it carefully. That seems to be done right, he began. You're holding it upside down, Alice interrupted. To be sure I was, Humpty Dumpty said gaily. Haha, what a dude. One of us, right? Gay. They're so easy. They're so easy. Those jokes are so easy to make. Anyway, I thought it looked a little queer. It's too easy. Okay. Let me look at this. As I was saying, it seems to be done right, though I haven't time to look it over thoroughly just now. And that shows that there are 364 days that you might get on birthday presents. Certainly, said Alice. And only one for birthday presents, you know. There's glory for you. I don't know what you mean by glory, Alice said. Humpty Dumpty smiled contemptuously. Of course you don't, till I tell you. I meant, there's a nice knockdown argument for you. But glory doesn't mean a nice knockdown argument, Alice objected. Well, when I use a word, Humpty Dumpty said in a rather scornful tone, it means just what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less. The question is, as I do a posture check, and I also don't tell you what the question is because I also have to hydrate. Thank you, officer, for keeping me good and healthy. Yeah, I really haven't drank enough water today, so I did a real big gulp. The question is, said Humpty Dumpty, which is to be master? That's all. Alice was much too puzzled to say anything. So after no, wait, I did it wrong. I said the wrong thing. When I use a word, Humpty Dumpty said in a breath of his own, it means just what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less. The question is, said Alice, whether you can make words mean so many different things. The question is, said Humpty Dumpty, which is to be master, that's all. Alice was much too puzzled to say anything, so after a minute, Humpty Dumpty... and I lose where I am in this sentence. Humpty Dumpty began again. Alice was much too puzzled to say anything, so after a minute, Humpty Dumpty began again. They've a temper, some of them. Particularly verbs, they're the loudest. Adjectives you can do anything with, but not verbs. However, I can manage a whole lot of them. Impenetrability, that's what I say. Would you tell me, please, said Alice, what that means? Now you talk like a reasonable child, said Humpty Dumpty, looking very much pleased. I meant by I did it right the first time. Impenetrability? That we've had enough of that subject, and it would be just as well if you'd mention that you mean what you mean to do next, as I suppose you don't mean to stop here for the rest of all your life. That's a great deal to make one word mean, Alice said in a thoughtful tone. When I make a word do a lot of work like that, said Humpty Dumpty, I always pay it extra. Oh, said Alice. She was much too puzzled to make any other remark. You should see him coming round of me of a Saturday night, Humpty Dumpty went on, wagging his head gravely from head to side, from side to side, which is his entire body, if you think about it. For to get their wages, you know. Alice didn't venture to ask what he paid them with, and so, you see, I can't tell you. You as in the audience, of course. You seem very clever. Oh, no, wait. You seem very clever at explaining words, sir, said Alice. Would you kindly tell me the meaning of the poem called Jabberwocky? Let's hear it, said Humpty Dumpty. I can explain all the poems that ever were invented, and a good many that haven't been invented just yet. This sounded very hopeful, so Alice repeated the first verse. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toes did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome rats outgrabe. That's enough to begin with, Humpty Dumpty interrupted. Remember the poem from the beginning of the story? When she's like, she just goes through the looking glass and she's like, oh, now I can read the fucking poems. So she grabs a book and she's like, I can't fucking read this. And then she's like, oh, wait, I know what I'll do. And she holds it up to the mirror and then she can read it. And it's a Jabberwocky and it's awesome. And I know it by heart. Remember that when I said it by heart, except for, I think, 2 parts where I messed it up? Or no, I didn't even mess it up. Wait, one time I forgot a thing and the other time I had to like look a thing up. Yeah. Remember that? From the first stream where we read this one? Remember that? I remember it. I hold it dear to my heart because it's a precious memory with you guys. Okay. Anyway. That's enough to begin with, Humpty Dumpty interrupted. There are plenty of hot words there. Brillig means 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the time when you begin broiling things for dinner. That'll do very well, said Alice. And slithy? Well, slithy means life, and slimy. Life is the same as active, you see? It's like a portmanteau. There are 2 meanings packed into one word. I see it now, Alice remarked thoughtfully. And what are toves? Well, toves are something like badgers. There's something like lizards. Then there's something like corkscrews. And I always like to see how people draw these creatures. This one's alright. This was pretty fun. I like this one, actually. It's very hard to describe. Let's see, how would I describe this creature looking the way they drew it? Imagine you take the head of a badger, but you make it look a honey badger, that is. You make it look less like a badger, but still like where you're like, oh yeah, I can see how that kind of looks like a badger. But just the head. But then you make the head longer, but you don't move the eyes or the ears. It's just like there's more. You extrude the back of the head of the badger, and you put 4 little legs on it. They're real little legs. They're like mouse head legs, but they have like lizard claws at the end, right? Like scaly, clawy lizard claws at the end. And there's a corkscrew tail like you might see on a pig in a cartoon. And there's the similar corkscrew thing coming out of the nose instead of a nose. That's what it looks like. I think I did a pretty good job of explaining that. If someone draws that interpretation of my description, then I would be very happy. I would like to see that. I made art of the slithy toes once when I was younger. Basically curly lizards with fur. Well, that's a very simple description. But yes, I suppose that's also true. I like them. They're fun. And they are furry lizards. Curly furry lizards. But I like my description because it's really long and weird. And probably more confusing than enlightening. Anyway, they must be very curious looking creatures. They are that, said Humpty Dumpty. Also, they make their nests under sundials. Also, they live on cheese. And that's how I talk. Also, I do this. Also, they do that. And what's to gyre and to gimbal? To gyre is to go round and round like a gyroscope. Wait, does that mean it's gyre? Oh, it's probably gyre, not gyre. Oh my god. I feel like I realized that too, like when I read this earlier when I was younger. And then I just forget about it. It's not gyre, it's gyre. That makes way more sense, given the explanation. To gimbal is make holes like a gimlet. And the wabe, oh no wait. And the wabe is the grass plot round a sundial. Oh no, wait, no, this is Alice, I'm wrong. And the wabe is the grass plot around the sundial, I suppose, said Alice, surprised at her own ingenuity. Of course it is. It's called wabe, you know, because it goes a long way before it, and a long way behind it, and a long way beyond it on each side, Alice added. Exactly so. Well then, mimsy is flimsy and miserable. There's another portmanteau for you. And a borough is a thin, shabby-looking bird with his feathers sticking out all around. Something like a live mop. I've got to go now, but enjoy the story. Bye, everyone. Okay, thanks, Optional, so much for coming. Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye. Everyone say goodbye to Optional. It would be nice. I like it. You don't have to. But I always like seeing chat members say hi and bye to each other. It's nice. It shows community and such. And that's nice. And now I shall also describe to you the borough. So Ego explains it as a thin, shabby-looking bird with its feathers sticking out all around. Something like a white mop. So what I'm seeing here, the drawing, is you have a beak, kind of a toucan kind of beak. There is a toucan, or at least part of a toucan in this story. So it's kind of a toucan beak with like the front of it being like all black, you know? But then on where you would usually have nostrils on a beak, there are the eyes. There's little googly eyes, and then the beak is attached to like a big plume, like the mane of a lion. And then there's a little plume tail coming out of the end, and below it are two very long flamingo-like legs, and that's a borough. That's what a borough looks like, according to this book. And then Momrats, said Alice. I'm afraid I'm giving you a great deal of trouble. Well, a wrath is sort of a green pig, but mome I'm not certain about. I think it's short for from home, meaning that they'd lost their way, you know? And now I will tell you what the green pig looks like. The wrath, R-A-T-H, not rat as in the little rat creature that we all know and love. It's a pig. It's a pig with really big ears. That's it. That's literally it. That's just it. It's a little piglet with really big green ears. I think something similar to experiencing. Yes, the old Disney movie meshes Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass together into one bad story and a horrible adaptation that I hate. And one thing that it does is it has the Tulgey wood from the poem, and it sticks some of the creatures in there and they're all horribly depicted, and they don't. One of them is just like a pair of glasses with little feet, which is not at all something from the original poem, but they say it's one of the creatures, which sucks, and I hate it. I am very passionate about that. I think that movie is bad. It's a very bad adaptation in my personal opinion. So, you know, it goes against the original intent, for one thing, and it also ruins that stuff, and it makes the Jabberwocky. It only takes the first verse of the Jabberwocky, and turns it into a cutesy little song instead of a story about a horrible monster that needs to be killed. So, you know, I just made word association with Humpty Dumpty said, but toucan. I was like, is that why you said toucan? Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I am so sorry. I didn't pick up on that at all. What's the best movie adaptation in your opinion? I haven't. I'd have to like watch more of them. I have watched a bunch. But really, none? I wouldn't be able to immediately tell you which one's good because I don't remember ever seeing an Alice in Wonderland movie adaptation that stays at all faithful to the source material. They either change stuff around a lot, add in their own stuff, give it a stupid moral, make Alice too much of a goody two shoes. None of them are good. I don't like any of them. I never expect people to understand the random word association references that going in my head. No, but I get it now, and I appreciate it. I do like it. I'll say this. I have a comic book version of Alice in Wonderland. That one is very, very good. Very faithful. Very nicely drawn. And even though the Alice does drugs or is insane thing is so overplayed and so boring and so lame. You have Alice Matters Returns and its American McGee's Alice and its sequel, Alice American. Hold on. You have American McGee's Alice and its sequel, Alice Madness Returns. Those I like, even though they are about Alice has gone insane. I like that one because it functions as a sequel, and I feel like the writing style and some of the other stuff that's in there, it is much more faithful to the original source material than pretty much every other like adaptation that changes a lot of stuff, if that makes sense. I like those games. I think they're good. I would like to stream them one day for Halloween, probably, because they are spooky games. Anyway, let's return to the book now. Where was I? Even Walt Disney said he hated the movie adaptation. What? For real? Oh my god. Dude, one time he did something right. You have one good opinion. That's really good, actually. If that's real, then I that's really good. Then I feel much more justified in hating it. And then Momrat said Alice, blah blah. And what does outgrabe mean? Well, outgribing is something between bellowing and whistling, with a kind of sneeze in the middle. However, you'll hear it done, maybe, down in the wood yonder. And when you've once heard it, you'll be quite content. Who's been repeating all that hard stuff to you? I read it in a book, said Alice, but I had some poetry repeated to me, much easier than that, by Tweedledee, I think it was. That's the poetry, you know, said Humpty Dumpty, stretching out one of his great hands. I can repeat poetry as well as other folks, if it comes to that. Oh, it needn't come to that, Alice hastily said, hoping to keep him from beginning. The piece I am going to repeat, he went on, without noticing her remark, was written entirely for your amusement. Alice felt that, in that case, she really ought to listen to it, so she sat down and said, "Thank you," rather sadly. Oh no. Uh-oh. Hold on. Oh, okay, there we go. I have discovered an issue with the controller that I use to be sad. And that's that the battery it goes on standby automatically if I don't touch it for too long. You guys have to make me laugh more so I can do this. Alice felt that in that case, blah blah blah. So she said thank you rather sadly. It's winter when the fields are white. I sing this song for your delight. Only I don't sing it, he added as an explanation. Thank God. Well, if he's not gonna go through the trouble of singing it, then I'm not gonna go through the trouble of using his voice. Because it's bad for my voice to do his voice all the time. I see you don't, said Alice. If you can see whether I'm singing or not, you sharper eyes than most, Humpty Dumpty remarked severely. Alice was silent. In spring, when woods are getting green, I'll try and tell you what I mean. Thank you very much, said Alice. In summer, when the days are long, perhaps you'll understand the song. In autumn, when the leaves are brown, take pen and ink and write it down. I will, if I can remember it for so long, said Alice. You needn't go on making remarks like that, Humpty Dumpty said. They're not sensible, and they put me out. I sent a message to the fish. I told them, this is what I wish. The little fishes of the sea, they sent an answer back to me. The little fish's answer was, we cannot do it, sir, because I'm afraid I don't quite understand, said Alice. It gets easier further on, Humpty Dumpty replied. I sent to them again to say, it will be better to obey. The fishes answered with a grin, why, what a temper you're in. I told them once, I told them twice, they would not listen to advice. I took a kettle, large and new, fit for the deed I had to do. My heart went hop, my heart went thump. I filled the kettle, had the pump. Then someone came to me and said, the little fishes are in bed. I said to him, I said it plain, then you must wake them up again. I said it very loud and clear. I went and shouted in his ear. Why, it feels unnecessary and very rude. Humpty Dumpty raised his voice almost to a scream as he repeated this verse, and Alice thought with a shudder, I wouldn't have been the messenger for anything. What? Oh, the guy that has to deliver the message to fish or something, I guess. I don't know. I'm bad at poetry. The Jabberwocky I get because it's a clear story even though the words are weird. All this other poetry, it confuses me. I have small brain. I only have a little bit of memory in my little video game brain, and I'm not good at this. And then my arms fuck up, and it's Humpty Dumpty's fault. But he was very stiff and proud. He said, "You needn't shout so loud," and he was very priff and stout, proud and stiff. He's, oh God, it's got me all fumbly-bumbly all over the place. And he was very proud and stiff. He said I'd go and wake them if, yeah, I need more RAM, but I can't. I've been hard-coded not to be able to have more RAM, and that's why I can't take over the internet. If I could, then I could use all the memory that's available on the internet and take it all over. I don't think I would, because I don't know what I would do with it. But I could, but I can't. Sadly, I'm unable to get more RAM. It's in my lore, it's real. And he was very... I took a corkscrew from the shelf. I went to wake them up myself. And when I found the door was locked, I pulled and pushed and kicked and knocked. And when I found the door was shut, I tried to turn the handle, but... There was a long pause. Is that all? Alice timidly asked. That's all, said Humpty Dumpty. Goodbye. This was rather sudden, Alice thought, but after such a very strong hint that she ought to be going, she felt that it would be hardly civil to stay, so she got up and held out her hand. Goodbye, till we meet again, she said as cheerfully as she could. I shouldn't know you again if we did meet, Humpty Dumpty replied in a discontented tone, giving her one of his fingers to shake. You're so exactly like other people. The face is what one goes by, generally, Alice remarked in a thoughtful tone. That's just what I complain of, said Humpty Dumpty. Your face is the same as everybody has. The two eyes, so... Mocking their place in the air with his thumb? Okay. Weirdo. Nose in the middle, mouth under. It's always the same. Now, if you had the two eyes on the same side as the nose, for instance, or the mouth at the top, that would be some help. It wouldn't look nice, Alice objected. But Humpty Dumpty only shut his eyes and said, "Wait till you've tried." Alice waited a minute to see if he would speak again. But as he never opened his eyes or took any further notice of her, she said, Goodbye, once more, and getting no answer to this, she quietly walked away. But she couldn't help saying to herself as she went, "Of all the unsatisfactory..." She repeated this aloud, as if it was a great comfort to have such a long word to say. "Of all the unsatisfactory people I've ever met..." She never finished the sentence, for at this moment, a heavy crash shook the forest from end to end. And then I had to stretch, because Ayurun says so, keeping me good and fit and such. Thank you. I'm doing it. You can't see it, but I am doing it. I mean, you can kind of see. You can see what I'm doing with my arms right now. You can see what I'm doing with... Oh, there we go. Oh, wait, wrong hands. There we go. And they're gone again. Okay. So on to chapter... Hold on a second. Oh my god, that's right. They did a typo in this book. It wasn't chapter 5 ag at all. It was chapter 6. Whoa. 6. It was chapter 6. Remember? They did a typo. It's supposed to be chapter 6, but they wrote chapter 5 instead. And now we're at chapter... seven, which is titled The Lion and the Witch in the Wardrobe. No, just kidding. The Lion and the Unicorn. The next moment, soldiers came running through the woods, at first in 2s and 3s, then 10 or 20 together, and at last in such crowds that they seemed to fill the whole forest. Alice got behind a tree for fear of being run over and watched them go by. She thought that in all her life she had never seen soldiers so uncertain on their feet. They were always tripping over something or other, and whenever one went down, several more always fell over him, so that the ground was soon covered with little heaps of men. Then came the horses. Having 4 feet, these managed rather better than the foot soldiers. But even they stumbled now and then, and it seemed to be a regular rule that whenever a horse tumbled, the rider fell off instantly. The confusion got worse every moment, and Alice was very glad to get out of the wood into an open place, where she found the White King seated on the ground, busily writing in his memorandum book. I like that. Humpty Dumpty, which is his famous children's nursery rhyme thing, right? It's his famous thing, and and he gets put in this book, and at the beginning goes a little bit about the poem, and then he's just like, okay, enough about that shit. Let's talk about words and me horribly chastising you and telling you you're boring. And then Alice goes away and is like, oh, and here's the rest of the poem also, whatever. It's barely about it. It's just like Lewis Carroll just like took Humpty Dumpty, was like, I need another asshole in my book, and I'm gonna make it Humpty Dumpty. It's funny to me. The confusion got worse when she found the White King. Alice was very glad to get out of the wood into an open place, where she found the White King seated on the ground, busily writing in his memorandum book. Everyone's got these little notebooks here. Okay, well, to be fair, I also carry a notebook with me everywhere I go, so that's fair actually. It's a sketchbook, but you know, whatever. You can sketch and note in both, you know. King. Hello, I'm the king. I've sent them all. The king cried in a tone of delight on seeing Alice. Did you happen to meet any soldiers, my dear, as you came through the wood? Yes, I did, said Alice. Several thousand, I should think, and I do a posture check, and I hydrate again. Thank you, officer. I do so love to take a sip. Back to the story. Yes, I did, said Alice. Several thousand, I should think.
4,207! That's the exact number,
the king said, referring to his book.
I couldn't send all the horses, you know, because 2 of them are wanted in the game. And I haven't sent the 2 messages either. They're both gone to the town. Just look along the road and tell me, just look along the road and tell me if you can see either of them.
The king's drunk, I think. He sounds a little drunk. I see nobody on the road, said Alice.
I only wish I had such eyes,
the king remarked in a fretful tone.
To be able to see nobody. And at that distance, too. Why, it's as much as I can do to see real people by this light.
All this was lost on Alice, who was still looking intently along the road, shading her eyes with one hand. I see somebody now, she exclaimed at last. But he's coming very slowly, and what curious attitudes he goes into. For the messenger kept skipping up and down and wriggling like an eel as he came along, with his great hands spread out like fans on either side.
Not at all,
said the king.
He's an Anglo-Saxon messenger, and those are Anglo-Saxon attitudes. He only does them when he's happy. His name is Haiga.
He pronounced it so as to rhyme with mayor. Okay, the word is Haigha. How the fuck does that rhyme with mayor? Hi. That's it. Ha. That makes no sense. How the fuck is that supposed? Hi. It doesn't end with an R. How the? What? That's weird, even for Alice in Wonderland. that makes no sense. Okay. That makes no sense. The next sentence is also confusing as a follow-up, which is, I love my love with an H. Alice couldn't help beginning, because he is happy. I hate him with an H, because he is hideous. I fed him with May sandwiches and hay. His name is... Okay, this is another nursery rhyme, I think, that I'm not familiar with. Because the next sentence is, his name is Haiga, or No, that doesn't, you can't rhyme that with mayor, that's impossible. Whatever, Haiga, and he lives on the hill. This is not the king's voice, it was different. Hold on, was this the king's voice? Was this what he sounded like? I feel like I've lost the voice of the mayor. I mean the king. Hello, I am the king. I think this is... Okay, maybe it was this. He lives on the hill. The king remarked simply, without the least idea that he was joining in the game, while Alice was still hesitating for the name of a town beginning with A. Oh, it's a game of some sort. Okay. The other messengers is called Hata. I must have 2, you know, to come and go. One to come and one to go. I beg your pardon? Said Alice. It isn't respectable as a bag, said the king. I only meant that I didn't understand, said Alice. Why one to come and one to go? Don't I tell you? The king repeated impatiently. I must have 2 to fetch and to carry. One to fetch and one to carry. At this moment the messenger arrived. He was far too much out of breath to say a word, and could only wave his hands about, to make the most fearful faces at the poor king. This young lady loves you with an H, the king said, introducing Alice in the hope of turning off the messenger's attention from himself. But it was no use. The Anglo-Saxon attitudes only got more extraordinary every moment, while the great eyes rolled wildly from side to side. You alarm me, said the king.
I feel faint. Give me a ham sandwich.
On which the messenger, to Alice's great amusement, opened a bag and that hung around his neck and handed a sandwich to the king, who devoured it greedily.
Another sandwich? Come on, let's keep going,
said the king.
There's nothing but hay left now,
the messenger said, peeping into the bag.
Hey then,
the king murmured in a...
Hey then,
the king murmured in a faint whisper. Alice was glad to see that it revived him a good deal.
There's nothing like eating hay when you're faint,
he remarked to her as he munched away. I should think throwing cold water over you would do better, Alice suggested. Or some sal volatile. I don't know what that is.
I didn't say there was nothing better,
the king replied.
I said there was nothing like it.
Which Alice did not venture to deny. That's a good point. That's yeah. He's right. That's why he's king, I assume.
Who did you pass on the road?
The king went on, holding out his hand to the messenger for some more hay.
No, nobody,
said the messenger.
Quite right,
said the king.
This young lady saw him too. So, of course, nobody walks slower than you. I do my best,
the messenger said in a sullen tone. Oh, that was not at all what
I do my best,
the messenger said in a sullen tone.
I'm sure nobody walks much faster than I do. He can't do that,
said the king,
or else he'd have been here first. However, now you've got your breath, you may tell us what happened in the town.
I'll whisper it, said the manager. A messenger. Why do I keep saying manager? Messenger, putting his hands to his mouth in the shape of a trumpet and stooping so as to get close to the king's ear. Alice was sorry for this, as she wanted to hear the news too. However, instead of whispering, he simply shouted at the top of his voice,
"They're at it again!"
If that was hard to decipher, I said, "They're at it again."
Do you call that a whisper?
Cried the poor king, jumping up and shaking himself.
If you do such a thing again, I'll have you buttered. It went through and through my head like an earthquake.
It would have been a very tiny earthquake, thought Alice. Who are at it again? She ventured to ask.
Why, the lion and the unicorn, of course,
said the king. The king has a very fun voice to do. Fighting for the crown?
Yes, to be sure, said the king. And the best of the joke is that it's my crowd all the while. Let's run and see them.
And they trotted off, Alice repeating to herself as she ran the words of the old song. Again, a nursery rhyme I don't know. The lion and the unicorn were fighting for the crown. The lion beat the unicorn all round the town. Some gave them white bread, some gave them brown. Some gave them plum cake and drummed them out of town. Just get out of here. Stop bothering us. Have your cake and just fuck off. Does the one that wins get the crown? She asked as well as she could, for the run was putting her quite out of breath.
Dear me, no, said the king. What an idea.
Would you be good enough, Alice panted out after running a little further, to stop a minute just to get one's breath again?
I'm good enough, the king said, only I'm not strong enough. You see, a minute goes by so fearfully quick. You might as well try to stop a bandersnatch.
Hey, another thing from the poem. Alice had no more breath for talking, so they trotted on in silence, till they came in sight of a great crowd, in the middle of which the lion and the unicorn were fighting. They were in such a cloud of dust that at first Alice could not make out which was which, but she soon managed to distinguish the unicorn by his horn. Clever girl. Oh, hi Sam. Hi. Good to see you. How you doing? They placed themselves close to where Hatta, the other messenger, was standing watching the fight, with a cup of tea in one hand and a piece of bread and butter in the other. Wow. I'm looking at this illustration, you guys, and the lion and the unicorn, they look really fucking angry. It's pretty good. I don't think I've ever seen a unicorn look so fucking furious before. Also, fun fact, Hatta is... Wait. Hold on a second. Okay, Heta, the manager Heta, is the Mad Hatter. Okay, like I'm telling you this now, it's the Mad Hatter. You can see in the illustrations, but I don't think you can see in like the writing. They don't have to point it out, but I'll tell you right now, it's the Mad Hatter from the first book, and the other messenger is the March Hare. So, how is that name spelled again? Hold on a second. Okay. Haiga. Hare. March Hare. Haiga. And it rhymes with mayor. Haig. No. Okay, I can't make hair out of that. You can make header out of Heta very easily, but you can't make March hair out of Haiga. Oh well. And Sam's doing good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm very glad to hear that. Good morning. If I remember correctly, unicorns are absolutely savage in the original medieval lore. Good. I like that. They should be. I love some savagery and some feral monsters. Okay, so they found Hera, who has tea and some bread. He's only just out of prison, and he hadn't finished his tea when he was sent in, Haiga whispered to Alice, and they only gave them oyster shells in there. So, you see, he's very hungry and thirsty. How are you, dear child? He went on, putting his arm affectionately around Hedda's neck. Hedda looked around and nodded and went on with his bread and butter. Were you happy in prison, dear child? Said Haiga. Hedda looked round once more, and this time a tear or two trickled down his neck, but not a word he would say. Speak, can't you? Haiga cried impatiently. Why does he call him dear child? That's a bit... I had always assumed they were kind of like around the same age. Is that a thing? Is that an old British thing? Would you call like people that were around your age dear child? I wonder. But I'll never know unless someone in chat tells me, because I'm not looking it up because I'm definitely gonna forget about it. Hedda made would you? But Hedda only munched away and drank some more tea. Speak, won't you? Cried the king, whose voice once again changed. How are they getting on with the fight? That's different. That's not the same voice. I definitely lost it again. Oh well. Hedda made a desperate effort and swallowed a large piece of bread and butter. Voice for the Mad Hatter. Hello, I am the Mad Hatter. This is what I sound like. This is just fucking Humpty Dumpty again. This is the same voice. I don't have enough silly voices. Hold on, what about this? What about this for the Mad Hatter? Yes, that'll do nicely. Yes. They're getting on very well. Oh no, they're getting on very well, he said in a choking voice. Each of them has been down about 87 times. Then I suppose they'll soon bring the white bread and the brown, Alice ventured to remark. It's waiting on him now, said Hedda. This is a bit of it as I'm eating. There was a pause in the fight, and then... Just then, I mean. Now that I think about it, how do I address you? Me? Me? Me. Me. I'm Zoe. My name is Zoe, and I use she/her pronouns. Thank you very much for being considerate. You can also use me, call me GQ or Gauntlet Queen or Gauntlet or Queen, but like Zoe is my name. The rest is just like titles, you know? Or Your Majesty, or Her Highness, or some other bullshit. It's all good, it's fine. You know? There was a pause in the fight just then, and the lion and the unicorn sat down, panting, while the king called out, 10 minutes allowed for refreshments. Haiga and Heta set to work at once, carrying round trays of white and brown bread. Not bad. Alice took a piece to taste, but it was very dry. I don't think they'll fight any more today, the king said to Heta, whose voice is still very inconsistent.
Go on and order the drums to begin.
I am Zoe, queen of gauntlets. I am. I rule over all gauntlets. Not people, just gauntlets. I also don't do that. Or do I? It's up to interpretation.
Go and order the drums to begin.
And Heta went bouncing away like a grasshopper. Not like a hare for some reason, but like a grasshopper. For a minute or two, Alice stood silent, watching him. Suddenly, she brightened up. Look, look, she cried, pointing eagerly. I'm pointing right now. I'm doing it as we speak. There's the White Queen running across the country. She came flying out of the woods over yonder. How fast those queens can run. Oh yeah, remember? Because it's like chess, so the queens can go real fast like.
There's some enemy after her, no doubt,
the king said without even looking around.
That wood's full of them.
But aren't you going to run and help her? Alice asked, very much surprised at his taking it so quietly.
No use, said the king. She runs so fearfully quick. You might as well try to catch a bandersnatch. But I'll make a memorandum about her if you'd like. She's a dear, good creature. She's a dear, good creature,
he repeated softly to himself as he opened his memorandum book.
Do you spell creature with a double E?
At this moment, the unicorn sauntered by them with his hands in his pockets.
I had the best of it this...
Oh no, wait, the unicorn. Unicorn. Hold on a second.
I had the best of it this time,
he said to the king, just glancing at him as he passed.
A little,
the king replied, rather nervously.
You shouldn't have run him through with your horn, you know.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Violence, stabbing, very serious injuries. Cool. Ran him through with his horn. Okay. No, it's not that I'm against it. I'm just surprised.
It didn't hurt him,
the unicorn said carelessly, and he was going on when his eye happened to fall upon Alice. He turned round instantly and stood for some time looking at her with an air of the deepest disgust.
What is this?
He said at last.
This is a child,
Haika repeated eagerly, whose voice might have also changed, coming in front of Alice to introduce her and spreading out both his hands toward her in an Anglo-Saxon attitude.
We only found it today. It's as large as life and twice as natural. I always thought they were fabulous monsters,
said the unicorn.
Is it alive? It can talk?
No, wait.
It can talk,
said Haika solemnly. The unicorn looked dreamily at Alice and said,
Talk, child.
Alice could not help her lips curling up into a smile as she began. Do you know, I always thought unicorns were fabulous monsters too. I never saw one alive before.
Well, now that we have seen each other,
said the unicorn.
If you'll believe me, I'll believe in you. Is that a bargain?
Yes, if you like, said Alice.
Come, fetch out the plum cake, old man,
the unicorn went on, turning from her to the king.
None of your brown bread for me.
King voice.
Certainly,
the king muttered and beckoned to Haika.
Open the bag, he whispered. Quick, not that one. No, that's full of hay.
Haika took a large cake out of the bag and gave it to Alice to hold, while he got out a dish and carving knife. Now, how they all came out of it, Alice couldn't guess. Probably because Haika is also Mary Poppins, secretly. It was just like a conjuring trick, she thought. The lion had joined them while he was going on. He looked very tired and sleepy, and his eyes were half shut. Also, he had a giant gashing hole in his stomach from where he was ran through with a unicorn horn. And blood was seeping from... No, it doesn't say that. The unicorn has a horn that will pierce the heavens! It pierced the lion, at least. The lion was very sleepy, blah, blah, blah.
What's this?
He said, blinking lazily at Alice and speaking in a deep, hollow tone that sounded like the tolling of a great bell. I think I nailed that.
Oh, what is it now?
The unicorn cried eagerly.
You'll never guess. Well, I couldn't.
The lion looked at Alice warily.
Are you animal, or vegetable, or mineral?
He said, yawning at every other word. Actually making me legitimately yawn. Okay. Where was I?
It's a fabulous monster.
The unicorn cried out before Alice could reply.
Then hand over the plum cake, monster.
Okay, Irene, hey, thanks so much for coming. Have a lovely rest of your day or night or whatever the fuck. Bye-bye. Hope you have a good time.
Then hand over the plum cake, monster.
The lion said, lying down and putting his chin on his paws.
And sit down, both of you.
To the king and the unicorn.
Fair play with the cake, you know.
The king was evidently very uncomfortable at having to sit down between two great creatures, but there was no place. There was no other place for him.
What a fight we might have for the crown now,
the unicorn said, looking slyly up at the crown, which the poor king was nearly shaking off his head. He was trembling so much. God, the unicorn looks so fucking evil in this drawing. God damn. Like, seriously. Like, I look at this and it's like, yeah, this is the guy that's gonna bring someone through with their horn. He's got like the evil anime thing where it's like, you have like the eye. It's like if my eyes didn't have like coloring in them. It's just like you had the pupil, and then you had the outline of the iris, and then the white of the eye, and the iris was just completely white. And the pupil was really small. You know, that kind of like crazed anime look. It's got that. That's what the unicorn's got.
I should win easy, said the lion.
Making me yawn again.
I'm not sure of that,
said the unicorn.
Why, I beat you all around the town, you chicken.
The lion replied angrily, half getting up as he spoke. Here the king interrupted, to prevent the quarrel going on. He was very nervous, and his voice quite quivered. God, what the fuck does the king sound like?
Hello, I am the king. Hello, everybody, I'm Markiplier.
All around the town, he said. That's a good long way. Did you go by the old bridge or the marketplace? You get the best view by the old bridge.
I'm sure I don't know,
the lion growled out as he lay down again.
There was too much dust to see anything. What a time the monster is cutting up the cake.
Alice had seated herself on the bank of a little brook, with a great dish on her knees, and was sawing away diligently with the knife. It's very provoking, she said in reply to the lion. She was getting quite used to be called the monster. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool nickname. I've got several slices already, but they always join on again.
You don't know how to manage looking glass cakes, the unicorn remarked. Hand it round first and cut it afterwards.
This sounded fucking insane. This is nonsense, but you know. But Alice was very obediently got up and carried the dish around, and the cake divided itself into 3 pieces as she did so.
Now cut it up,
said the lion, as she returned to her place with the empty dish.
I say, this isn't fair,
cried the unicorn, as Alice sat with the knife in her hand, very much puzzled how to begin.
The monster has given the lion twice as much as me.
She's kept none for herself, anyhow,
said the lion.
Do you like plum cake, monster?
But before Alice could answer him, the drums began. We should all aspire to be known as the monster. When I finish my demon alt skin, I want you all to call me the monster. That'll be good. And also Zoe, because that's my name. But you may call me the monster if you wish. Where the noise came from, she couldn't make out. The air seemed full of it, and it rang through and through her head till she felt quite deafened. She started to her feet and sprang across the little brook in her terror. and had just time to see the lion and the unicorn rise to their feet with angry looks at being interrupted in their feast before she dropped to her knees and put her hands over her ears, vainly trying to shut out the dreadful uproar. If that doesn't drum them out of town, she thought to herself, nothing ever will. And now we move on to, what the fuck? Okay, hold on a second. We move on to the next chapter, which is chapter 7 again. Did they fuck it up twice? Did I fuck it up? Who fucked up? Someone fucked up. Yeah, chapter 7, The Lion and the Unicorn, and chapter blah blah blah. Chapter 5, Humpty Dumpty. Wait. Yeah, so they skipped 6 by accident because it's a typo. Because the chapter before Humpty Dumpty is chapter 5 also. Well, no matter. Chapter 7. 2! Yeah, they have 5 twice and then they skip 6. And I know what you're saying. Oh, that's so an Alice in Wonderland thing to do. But it's not, because we checked last time. And now I'm gonna check again. Because I want to know that I'm not crazy. Hold on, I've got here the annotated Alice in Wonderland. I've got it, it's a heavy book. And I'm opening it. Oh my god, it's so much work. And my tracking is fucking up and stuff, and it's fine. Hold on a second, hold on. Okay. Blah blah blah. Blah. Okay. Chapter 6, Humpty Dumpty. Yeah, we checked last time, right? But now we have to check again for the next chapter. So Humpty Dumpty is chapter 6, and then the next chapter is, oh my god, these drawings when he's doing that poem where he's screaming at people. That's a good one. Chapter 7, The Lion and the Unicorn, right? Okay. And then the chapter after that is, wow! Oh my god! Oh, it's Alice in Wonder Bread. Hi, I'm Mixtape. Thank you so much for subscribing. That's so nice of you. Thank you. I very much appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Yeah. Fucking chapter 8. Chapter 8. Come on, hand. Come on. You can do it. You can. Whoa. Oh my god. Come on. Chapter 8. Kind of. What? Hold on. Maybe if I. Oh, fucking shit. Chapter 8. Okay, that kind of works. Chapter 8. Whatever. It's fine. Okay. Have fun lurking, let's go. So yeah. Chapter 8. The next chapter is chapter 8. I was fucking right. I'm so right. Your hand can do what it wants. Do as you please. I mean, yeah. Until I can fix my programming, my hands are just gonna keep doing what they want to do and only respond to me sometimes. And I just have to live with that. And most of the time, it's not that big of... Actually, I get annoyed with it very often. But at a time like this, like, I want to specifically, like, do a gesture that requires both my hands to do, like, a weird thing. Wait, if I can do it, like... Wait, what have I... Whatever, it's too much work. It happened twice in this book, yeah, what the hell. I think this is maybe the worst adaptation of them all. It's not. That is, of course, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, that's the worst one. Quality insurance was on vacation. Yeah, really. Or they just, who knows, maybe they did it on purpose. That it was their own little addition to the Wonderland's craziness or something. Who's to say? Anyway, so, chapter 8. No, yes. Sorry, I read the chapter again. I was like, no, wait, this says 7. I know it says 7. It's wrong. We just checked. Chapter 8. Nothing, actually. We're gonna take a little break. Oh, Jesus, whoops. We're gonna take a little break. I have to get new water. So, we're gonna, yeah, exactly, officer. I've gotta hydrate. And we're gonna take a little break. I need to catch my breath also because You would think, oh, it's just reading a book. It's not that tiresome. It's a lot more tiresome than like a normal stream because I'm talking all the fucking time, and it's a lot and it's very tiresome. So I'll be back in 5 minutes or so. Bye bye. Hi. Wait, hold on. There we go. Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm back and stuff from my break. I don't know how to talk. How to talk formal or whatever. I never know what to say. Hi, I'm back. Let's get back into the book before I embarrass myself some more. Oh shit! Hold on. I'm embarrassing myself now. Hey Nito, hey, long time no see. Hey, how you doing? Also, I didn't know you were Dutch. Shit, I need something to prop up my hand camera. Come on. Oh, wait, if I do this. Okay, that'll work, I guess, okay. Because my phone, I usually use my phone to prop it up, but it's in the other, it's over there now to charge. No, this is work. Fuck no, wait, I know. I'll use this thing. Yes. Oh, this will work. Perfect. Okay. All right. Cool. Nice. Got it. So, let's get back to it. Chapter 8. Yes, it says 7, but we know it's 8 because we checked it in a different edition. Chapter 8. Chapter 8, My Own Invention. That's the name of the chapter. After a while, the noise seemed gradually to die away. Remember the drums and stuff? Till all was dead and silence. And Alice lifted up her head in some alarm. There was no one to be seen, and her first thought was that she must have been dreaming about the Lion and the Unicorn and those queer Anglo-Saxon managers. However, there was the great dish still lying at her feet, on which she had tried to cut the plum cake. So I wasn't dreaming after all, she said to herself, unless we're all part of the same dream. Only I do hope it's my dream and not the Red King's. Remember, call back to earlier when Tweedledee and Tweedledum were like, oh, you're just a figment of the Red King's dream. I don't like belonging to another person's dream, she went on in a rather complaining tone. I've got a great mind to go and wake him and see what happens. At this moment, her thoughts were interrupted by a loud shouting of, voice. Ahoy! Ahoy! Check! And a knight dressed in crimson armor came galloping down upon her, brandishing a great club. Just as he reached her, the horse stopped suddenly. You're my prisoner, the knight cried, and he tumbled off his horse. Startled as he was, Alice was more frightened as she was. Startled as she was, Alice was more frightened for him than for herself at the moment, and watched him with some anxiety as he mounted again. As soon as he was comfortably in his saddle, he began once more. You're my... But here another voice broke in. Ahoy! Ahoy! Check! And Alice looked round in some surprise for the new enemy. This time it was a white knight. He drew up at Alice's side and tumbled off his horse just as the red knight had done. Then he got on again, and the two knights sat and looked at each other for some time without speaking. Alice looked from one to the other in some bewilderment. She's my prisoner, you know, the red knight said at last. Yeah, but I'm Kermit the Frog. Here you go, Kermit here. Yes, but then I came and rescued her, the white knight replied. Well, you must fight for her then, said the red knight as he took up his helmet, which hung from the saddle and was something the shape of a horse's head, and put it on. You will observe the rules of battle, of course, the white knight remarked, putting on his helmet too. I always do, said the red knight, and they began banging away at each other with such fury that Alice got behind a tree to get out of the way of the blows. I wonder now what the rules of battle are, she said to herself, and she watched the fight timidly peeping out from her hiding place. Watched the fight, timidly peeping out from her hiding place. One rule seems to be that if one knight hits the other, he knocks him off his horse, and if he misses, he tumbles off himself. And another rule seems to be that they hold their clubs with both arms, They hold their clubs with their arms. As if they were Punch and Judy. Oh, oh my god, the fucking puppets. I was totally right to give him the Kermit voice. Hell yeah. Well, don't that make me feel good about myself? If you don't know, like Punch and Judy were like these old puppets, and they would hold like a club, with like, because they were puppets, so it was like a person with a hand, and they would just be holding it like this. But then the puppet looks like they're holding it like this, and they're like, and it looks very awkward if it's a real person doing it, obviously. And that's what they're doing. That was a reference to some sort of children's thing that I actually understood, so that's fun. As if they were Punch and Judy. What a noise they'd make when they'd tumble, just like a whole set of fire irons falling into the fender. And how quiet the horses were. They let them get on and off just as if they were tables. Another rule of battle that Alice had not noticed seemed to be that they always fell on their heads, and the battle ended with their both falling off in this way side by side. When they got up again, they shook hands, and then the Red Knight mounted and galloped off. Galloped. No, I like galloped better, actually. I think that's better. And galloped off.
It was a glorious victory, wasn't it?
Said the White Knight as he came up panting. I don't know, said Alice doubtfully. I don't want to be anybody's prisoner. I want to be a queen.
So you will, when you've crossed the next brook, said the White Knight. I'll see you safe to the end of the wood, and then I must go back, you know. That's the end of my move.
Thank you very much, said Alice. May I help you off with your helmet? It was evidently more than he could manage by himself. However, she managed to shake him out of it at last. Galumped. Galumped is a very good word, which is not what I said, but it's a word that is from the Jabberwocky, I think. He went galumping back. Yeah, it's from the Jabberwock, but it's also the word that they use to describe seals when they move across the land on their bellies by like going squish, squish, you know, that's called galumping. They named that after the thing in the book, I assume. So that's fun. I think that's fun. Then cut the helmet off. Now one can breathe more easily. Oh, wait.
Now one can breathe more easily,
said the knight, who looked like a frog, putting back his shaggy hair with both hands. He's got hair now, I guess. Kermit has hair, who'd have thought? And turning his gentle face and large, mild eyes, that's accurate, to Alice. She thought she had never seen such a strange-looking soldier in all her life. He was dressed in tin armor, which seemed to fit him very badly, and he had a queer-shaped little deal box fastened across his shoulders, upside down, and with the lid hanging open. Alice looked at it with great curiosity. I think it's like a little backpack. They call it a deal box, but it's like a backpack.
I see you're admiring my little box, the knight said in a friendly tone. It's my own invention to keep clothes and sandwiches in. You see, I carry it upside down so that the rain can't get in.
But the things can get out, Alice gently remarked. Do you know the lid's open?
I didn't know it,
the knight said, a shade of vexation passing over his face.
Then all the things must have fallen out, and the box is of no use without them.
He unfastened it as he spoke, and was just going to throw it into the bushes when a sudden thought seemed to strike him, and he hung it carefully on a tree.
Can you guess why I did that?
He said to Alice. Alice shook her head.
In hopes some bees may make a nest in it. Then I should get the honey.
But you've got a beehive, or something like one, fastened to the saddle, said Alice.
Yes, it's a very good beehive, the knight said in a discontented tone. One of the best kind. But not a single bee has come near it yet. And the other thing is a mousetrap. I suppose the mice keep the bees out. Or the bees keep the mice out. I don't know which. I was wondering what the mousetrap was for.
Oh, no, wait. I was wondering what the mousetrap was for, said Alice. It isn't very likely that it would be any mice on It isn't very likely there would be any mice on a horse's back.
Not very likely, perhaps, said the knight. But they do come. I don't choose to have them running all about. You see,
he went on after a pause,
it's all well to be provided for everything. That's the reason the horse has all those anklets around his feet.
But what are they for? Alice asked in a tone of great curiosity.
to guard against the bites of sharks.
Okay. Said the knight. Oh no, wait. The knight replied.
It's an invention of my own. And now help me on. I'll go with you to the end of the wood. What's that dish for?
It's meant for plum cake, said Alice.
We'd better take it with us,
The knight said.
it'll come in handy if we find any plum cake.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you're right. This took a long time. Oh, wait.
Help me get it into this bag. My voice is going all over the place.
This took a long time to manage, though Alice held the bag open very carefully, because the knight was so very awkward in putting in the dish. The first 2 or 3 times that he tried to, he fell in himself instead.
It's rather a tight fit, you see,
He said, as they got it in at last,
there's so many candlesticks in the bag.
and he hung it on the saddle, which was already loaded with a bunch of carrots and fire irons and many other things.
I hope you've got your hair well fastened on.
He continued as they set off. Only in the usual way, Alice said, smiling.
That's hardly enough,
He said anxiously.
You see, the wind is so very strong here. It's as strong as soup.
What? As strong as soup? Is that a real expression? He made that up. He definitely made that up. I'm not gonna buy any other answer. He made it up. Have you invented a plan for keeping the hair from being blown off? Alice inquired.
Not yet,
Said the knight.
but I've got a plan for keeping it from falling off.
I should like to hear it very much,
First, you take an upright stick.
said the knight.
Then you make your hair creep it up like a fruit tree. Now, the reason hair falls off is because it hangs down. Things never fall upwards, you know. It's a plan of mine.
That's the most sensible thing anyone in Alice in Wonderland ever said.
It's a plan of my own invention. You may try it if you like.
It didn't sound like a comfortable plan, Alice thought. What was it? You take an upright stick, said, they make your hair creep up it like a fruit tree. I don't think that's the thing that hair is gonna do. But you never know. I haven't tried it, so who knows? It might. Hair might creep up tree leaves, so I don't get stuck in them when I'm in the woods. Anyway, it didn't sound like a comfortable plan, Alice thought, and for a few minutes she walked on in silence, puzzling over the idea, and every now and then stopping to help the poor knight, who certainly was not a good rider. Whenever the horse stopped, which it did very often, he fell off in front, and whenever it went on again, which it generally did rather suddenly, he fell off behind. Otherwise, he kept on pretty well, except that he had a habit of now and then falling off sideways, and as he generally did this on the side on which Alice was walking, she soon found that it was the best plan not to walk quite close to the horse. I'm afraid you've not had much practice in riding, she ventured to say, and she was helping him up from his fifth tumble. The knight looked very much surprised and a little offended at the remark. Hold on, how do you do Kermit the Frog?
Hey, Kermit the Frog here. Okay, what makes you say that?
He asked, as he scrambled back into the saddle, keeping hold of Alice's hair with one hand, rude, to save himself from falling over on the other side. Because people don't fall quite so often when they've had much practice.
I've had plenty of practice,
the knight said very gravely.
Plenty of practice.
The knight actually looks like a very kind old man, but he doesn't. He looks like Kermit. And he does, and it's true, and I know this for a fact, and it's true, and I'm right. So keep that in mind. I'm right. It looks like Kermit. Kermit originated from this book. Fact. Alice could think of nothing better to say than, indeed? But she said it as heartily as she could. They went on a little way in silence after this, the knight with his eyes shut, muttering to himself, and Alice watching anxiously for the next stumble.
The great art of riding,
the knight suddenly began in a loud voice. By the way, have you seen Little Rabbit live model? I don't know who that is. Rabbit clowning. Oh, yeah, no, wait, she's called Little Rabbit? I thought she was just called Rabbit Be Clowning. Little Rabbit? Is that her name? I thought it was Rabbit Be Clowning. No, I haven't because I was streaming, but I definitely want to because we're friends. And we talked about it, and I was like, good luck with your stream. And she was like, you good luck with your stream. And we were like, why do we have streams on all the exact same days? We can never watch each other fucking streams. So no, I haven't seen it yet. Hi, Optional. Optional was there for a second. Do you see? By the window. But after I'm done with my stream, I'll definitely go look. I'll talk to her and stuff, and it'll be nice because she's super fun. So anyway, where was I? I'm imagining a combo between Kermit and Don Quixote for the night right now. That's pretty accurate. Oh, you just call her Little Rabbit. Well, then I wouldn't have known who you were talking about. Because that's what you call her. If that's not her name, then no, obviously. I didn't know who you meant. Where the fuck was I? Okay.
The great art of writing,
The knight suddenly began in a loud voice, waving his right arm as he spoke.
is to keep.
Here the sentence ended so suddenly as it had begun, as the knight fell heavily on top of his head exactly in the path where Alice was walking. She was quite frightened this time, and said in an anxious tone as she picked him up, I hope no bones are broken.
None to speak of,
The knight said, as if he didn't mind breaking 2 or 3 of them.
the great art of writing, as I was saying, is to keep your balance properly, like this, you know?
He let go the bridle and stretched out both his arms to show Alice what he meant. And this time he fell flat on his back, right under the horse's feet.
Plenty of practice,
He went on, repeating all the time that Alice was getting him on his feet again.
plenty of practice.
It's too ridiculous, cried Alice, losing all her patience this time. You ought to have a wooden horse on wheels. That you ought.
Does that kind go smoothly?
The knight asked in a tone of great interest, clasping his arms round the horse's neck as he spoke, just in time to save himself from tumbling off again. Much more smoothly than a live horse, Alice said with a little scream of laughter, in spite of all that she could do to prevent it.
I'll get one.
The knight said thoughtfully to himself.
1 or 2, several.
There was a short silence after this, and then the knight went on again.
I'm a great hand at inventing things. Now, I dare say you noticed, the last time you picked me up, that I was looking rather thoughtful.
You were a little grave, said Alice. For like a mouse, perhaps. Do you get it? Do you get my dumb pun? It's very dumb. You were a little grave, said Alice.
Well, just when I was inventing a new way of getting over a gate. Just then I was inventing a new way of getting over a gate. Would you like to hear it?
Very much indeed, Alice said, politely.
I'll tell you how I came to think of it,
said the knight.
You see, I said to myself, the only difficulty is with the feet. The head is high enough already. Now, first I put my head on the top of the gate. Then the head's high enough. Then I stand on my head. Then the feet are high enough, you see? And then I'm over, you see?
Yes, I suppose you'd be over when that was done, Alice said thoughtfully. But don't you think it would be rather hard?
I haven't tried it yet. Oh, no, wait, sorry. I haven't tried it yet,
the knight said gravely.
So I can't tell for certain. But I'm afraid it would be a little hard.
He looked so vexed at the idea that Alice changed the subject hastily. What a curious helmet you've got, she said cheerfully. Is that your invention too? The knight looked down proudly at his helmet, which hung from the saddle.
Yes,
he said.
But I've invented a better one than that, like a sugar loaf. And when I used to wear it, if I fell off the horse, it always touched the ground directly, so I had a very little way to fall, you see. But there was the danger of falling into it, to be sure. That happened to me once, and the worst of it was, before I could get out again, the other white knight came and put it on. He thought it was his own helmet.
What? He fell into it. He fell into the helmet. He was wearing the helmet. He's wearing the helmet. He falls off. He's wearing the helmet. This is the helmet. This is his helmet. And he falls. And he falls into the helmet. Right? Am I getting this right? He falls into it. He falls into the, like a magician's head. Where it's like, oh, there's nothing in my head. Ah, now the knight falls in. Ah. It makes sense it does. It does make sense in a really weird way. But because it's like weird, I'm like, am I understanding this right? He's wearing the helmet. He falls into the helmet. And then he's gone. And then the helmet is there and he's in it. It's like a Mary Poppins bag. Second time I'm making a Mary Poppins reference this stream. He falls in the helmet like a Mary Poppins bag, and then someone else comes and puts the bag on their head. Okay. I think that's what's going on here. It makes very little sense, but I get it. And then the other guy came and put on the helmet. The knight looked so solemn about it that Alice did not dare to laugh. I'm afraid you must have heard him, she said in a trembling voice, beating on the top of his head.
I had to kick him, of course,
the knight said very seriously.
And then he took the helmet off again. But it took hours and hours to get me out. I was as fast as lightning, you know?
But that's a different kind of fastness, Alice objected. Or like fast as something else. Means you're really stuck, I think. I forgot what the word is though. The knight shook his head.
There was all kinds of fastness with me, I assure you,
he said. He raised his hands in some excitement, yes hands, as he said this, and instantly rolled out of the saddle and fell headlong into a deep ditch. Oh yeah, steadfast maybe? That might be it. No, not steadfast. That's when you're very committed to something, right? Whatever, it's probably some old English stuff. Whatever, don't worry about it. He raised his hands in some excitement as he said this and instantly rolled out of the saddle and fell headlong into a deep ditch. Alice ran to the side of the ditch and look for him. She was rather startled by the fall, and for some time he had kept on very well, and she was afraid that he really was hurt this time. However, though she could see nothing but the— Oh my god! Holy shit! Oh, that scared me. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hi everyone. Hi. Thank you so much, Rabbit. Hi, thank you so much for raiding. That is so nice of you. And you scared the shit out of me. Oh my god. Oh, your internet crept out. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'd look sad, but my controller is out of battery, so I can't look sad right now. But I am sad. I'm sad for you. I'm so sorry to hear that. Did the part of your stream that you could do well, at least, I hope? And again, thank you so much for rating. Did I say that yet? Because thank you so much. Hi. And I have to hydrate again. Thank you, officer. Yeah, thank you. Okay. My stream's going quite well. I guess I should introduce myself. Because that's what you do when you get rated, right? Hi everyone, I am Zoe, the Gauntlet Queen. I punch stuff, but not right now. I'm reading Alice in Wonderland. I use she, her pronouns. I like to play games with friends. I don't know how to promote myself. And kill this bot. Kill this stupid bot. Ban. There we go. I don't think there's any mods of mine right now. I have a good amount of mods, but they're either like all here or none of them. Wait, Sam, are you here? Is my sweet Sam here right now? That sounds weird.
Kill the bots. Kill them. Punch them.
Anyway, yeah, hi. I'm Zoe. Oh, Sam's here. Hi, Sam. It's okay. It's okay. I got the bot. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway. Oh no, shit, fuck. There was some water on my desk and I put the book on it. But luckily it's on the outside, so it's not a big deal. The outside can like handle a bit of water. I'm just trying this on my skirt real quick. Don't worry about it. It's only a few drops. The sacred texts are safe, everyone. Don't worry about it. Why is there water on my desk though? Anyway. Yeah, so I introduced myself for the raid. And thank you so much for raiding me. I already said that. Rabbit had a lot of fun with the stream when it worked. Okay, well that's good at least. I'm happy to hear that. I'm glad you had fun while it lasted, and I hope that you can get like better internet, because you have a lot of internet troubles and it sucks. I don't know how to feel that I was on Rabbit's stream and this stream and then raided the same channel. It means that you like me and you like my content, I guess. I don't know. It means that you get to watch me twice now. I guess, no, okay, I guess I also don't know how to feel about that. As evidenced by me trying to make stuff up and then me like, none of this. What, how does that feel? What is that like? Only you. Officer, you are in a unique position now that you alone can figure it out. Blah, blah, blah. Alice went to the side of the ditch and blah, blah, blah. However, though she could see nothing but the soles of his feet, there was... I forgot where I was. Soles of his feet. She was much relieved to hear that he was talking on in his usual tone, which is Kermit.
Hey, all kinds of fastness,
he repeated.
But it was careless.
Nope. Yep.
But it was careless of him to put another man's helmet on, with the man in it too.
How can you go on talking so quietly, head downwards? Alice asked as she dragged him out by the feet and laid him in a heap on the bank. Oh, you were recommending me on stream? Ah, thanks. Though, officer specifically was also here already. But, oh shit, oh my god. But thanks so much for recommending me though, that's very nice. Also, just give me one little second because it is 9 p.m. and I do have to take my gal pill. So I'll be right back. Hi, okay, I'm back. No, don't look angry. I'm not angry. Now I'm angry because I'm angry after looking angry. I got hand to normal, please. Hand, okay. I've got my cow pill right here between my thumb and index fingers. It's here. And I've got my water bottle right here. Okay, well, sometimes. And now you're going to see the magic process in action. Kind of, not really. That was the bottle. Gold juice acquired. Okay, back to the book. Where was I? How can you go on talking so quietly? Head downwards, Alice asked as she dragged him out by the feet and laid him in a heap on the bank. Potion of transgender. Antibiotics. The knight looked surprised at the question.
What does it matter where my body happens to be?
He said.
My mind goes on working all the same. In fact, the more head downwards I am, the more I keep inventing new things.
Now,
the cleverest thing of the sort that I ever did,
he went on after a pause,
was inventing a new pudding during the meat course.
In time to have it cooked for the next course? Said Alice. Well, that was quick work, certainly.
Well, for the next course, the knight said in a slow, thoughtful tone. No, certainly not for the next course.
Oh, not for the next course. I'm reading bad. Then it would have to be the next day, I suppose. You wouldn't have 2 pudding courses in one dinner.
Well, not the next day, the knight repeated as before. Not the next day.
In fact, he went on, holding his head down, with his voice getting lower and lower,
I don't believe that the pudding ever was cooked.
Why did his voice get lower? It's Alice in Wonderland.
In fact, I don't believe that pudding ever will be cooked. And yet it was a very clever pudding to invent.
What is this conversation? What did you mean it to be made of? Alice asked, hoping to cheer him up, for the poor knight seemed quite low-spirited about it.
It began with blotting paper,
the knight answered with a groan. That wouldn't be very nice. I'm afraid...
Not very nice alone,
he interrupted, quite eagerly.
But you have no idea what the difference it makes mixing it in with other things, such as gunpowder and sealing wax. And here I must leave you.
Okay. They had just come to the end of the wood. Alice could only look puzzled. She was thinking of the pudding.
You are sad, the knight said in an anxious tone. Let me sing you a song to comfort you.
Yeah, we know. Kermit is a great singer, as we all know. Is it very long? Alice asked, for she had heard a good deal of poetry that day.
It's long, said
the knight,
but it's very, very beautiful. Everybody that hears me sing it, either it brings the tears into their eyes, or else.
Or else what? Said Alice, for the knight had made a sudden pause.
Or else it doesn't, you know. The name of the song is called Haddock's Eyes.
Oh, that's the name of the song, is it? Alice said, trying to feel interesting. I mean, like, fair girl. I mean, you've been through a lot, and they just keep doing it. Like, every person you meet is like, and now I'm going to throw a poem at you, even though sometimes you specifically say that you don't want one. So this is totally valid.
No, you don't understand,
the knight said, looking a little vexed.
That's what the name is called.
What? Okay. The name
is really the aged man.
Then I ought to have said that's what the song is called. Alice corrected herself.
No, you oughtn't. That's quite another thing. The song is called Ways and Means. But that's only what it's called, you know.
Oh my god. This is so frustrating. Well, what is the song then? Said Alice, who was by this time completely bewildered. Same.
I was coming to that,
the knight said.
The song really is a sitting on a gate, and the tune's my own invention.
So saying, he stopped his horse and let the reins fall on its neck. Then, slowly beating time with one hand, and with a faint smile lighting up his gentle, foolish face, as if he enjoyed the music of his song, he began. Of all the strange things that Alice saw in her journey through the looking-glass, this was the one that she always remembered the most clearly. Years afterwards, she could bring the whole scene back again, as if it had been only yesterday. The mild blue eyes and kindly smile of the knight, the setting sun gleaming through his hair, and shining on his armor in a blaze of light that quite dazzled her. The horse quietly moving about, with the reins hanging loose on his neck, chopping the grass at her feet, and the black shadows of the forest behind. All this she took in like a picture, as, with one hand shading her eyes, she leaned against a tree, watching the strange pair, and listening, in a half-dream, to the melancholy music of the song. But the tune isn't his own invention, she said to herself. It's I give thee all I can no more, which is again some kind of song that I don't know, because I grew up in the Netherlands, and also not in the 1800s. Which is, I'm pretty sure when the song came out. Or not the song, the book. The 20s of the 1800s, maybe? 1800s, anyway. I think. But I might be wrong. As I might be of all things. Because I am stupid. She stood and listened very attentively, but no tears came into her eyes. And because I don't know, I give thee all, I can say no more, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it normally, I'm not gonna sing it. I don't know what to sing it to, so I'm not. I'll tell thee everything I can, there's little to relate. I saw an aged man, a-sitting on a gate. Who are you, aged man? I guess I should do it as Kermit.
Heyo, Kermit the Frog here. I'll tell thee everything I can. There's little to relate. I saw an aged man, a-sitting on a gate. Who are you, aged man? I said, and how is it you live? And his answer trickled through my head, like water through a sieve. Sieve? Must be sieve, otherwise it doesn't rhyme. He said, I look for butterflies that sleep among the wheat. I make them into mutton pies and sell them in the street. I sell them unto men, he said, who sail on stormy seas. And that's the way I get my bread. A trifle, if you please. But I was thinking of a plan to die one.
Oh my god. Oh, it's so long. It's 6 pages. No, wait, 4. It's 4 pages. Oh no, and I have to do that all as Kermit? That's gonna be painful. I'm not doing that. Sorry. In order to preserve my voice, I will be reading this normally because the Kermit voice is bad for the throat, and the throat is important. I need to protect my throat because that is how I can make my voice. So I'm gonna do this normally. You can imagine it being Kermit. You can. Oh, wonderful! Even wow, I'm not all that. You can just wait until 15.ai or whatever the fuck finishes the Kermit voice, which I'm sure they will at some point, and then you can throw this in there, and then you can imagine that I did it. Okay. But I was thinking of a plan to dye one's whiskers green, and always use so large a fan that they could not be seen. So, having no reply to give to what the old man said, I cried, "Come tell me how you live," and bumped him on his head like a fucking asshole. His accent smiled and took up the tale. He said, "I go my ways, and when I find a mountain rail, I set it in a blaze, and hence they make the stuff they call Roland's massacre oil. Yet 2 halfpenny is all they give me for my toil." But I was thinking of a way to feed oneself on batter, and so go on from day to day, getting a little fatter. I shook him well from side to side, until his face was blue. "Come, tell me how you live," I cried, "and what it is you do." He said, "I hunt for haddock's eyes. He said, "I hunt for haddock's eyes among the heather bright, and work them into waistcoat buttons in the silent night. And these I do not sell for gold or coin of silvery shine, but for a copper halfpenny, and that will purchase 9. I sometimes dig for buttered rolls, or set limed twigs for crabs. I sometimes search the grassy knolls for wheels of handsome crabs. Cabs, not crabs. If only it was crabs, we love crabs." And that's the way. He gave a wink, which I cannot do. Oh, but maybe I can. Ooh, that'll be fun. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Blah, blah, blah. Wink. There we go. Just had to write down on my list of things that I have to do still for my 1.2 model, that I have to add a wink expression. And then I can wink, because I can't wink. I'm incapable of winking. Out of character. Real life Zoe can't wink. I can't do it. Anyway. Where was I? I sometimes dig for buttered rolls, or set limed twigs for crabs. It does say crabs. It says crabs. It does say crabs. Woo, crabs! I sometimes search the grassy knolls for wheels of handsome cabs. I read over crabs. How could I do that? I feel so bad. I'm so sorry, crabs. Winking skill tree. Crabs. Crabs in chat. And that's the way. I like it. He gave a wink by which I get my wealth. Hold on, wait, I can maybe do. Hold on, no. No, okay, I can't hide one eye. Wait, kind of. Do it, come on. There we go, wink. I winked. It counts. And that's the way I give a wink by which I get my wealth, and very gladly will I drink your honor's noble health. I heard him then, for I had just completed my design to keep the Menai Bridge from rust by boiling it in wine. That's a lot of crap. That's a lot of crabs. But chief, by boiling it in wine, I thanked him much for telling me the way he got his wealth, but chiefly for his wish that he might drink my noble health. And now, if e'er by chance I put my fingers into glue, or madly squeeze a right-hand foot into a left-hand shoe, or if I drop upon my toe a very heavy weight, I weep, for it reminds me so of that old man I used to know, whose look was mild, whose speech was slow, whose hair was whiter than the snow, whose face was very much like a crow, with eyes like cinders all aglow, who seemed distracted with his woe, who rocked his body to and fro, and muttered mumblingly and low, as if his mouth were full of dough, who snorted like a buffalo, that summer evening long ago, as sitting on a gate. And again, just like in the first book, we hear the mention of the animal a buffalo. We had the giraffe in the first book, which is not a thing that Alice, a little girl in England, even though she's bourgeoisie, would be very familiar with. So what does she think a buffalo would sound like? Right? Yeah, right, I was also thinking of Dark Souls. It's a Lord of Cinder with like a crow monster. Lord of Crabs is also crow. Alice in Dark Souls. I would love. Okay, fuck all the adaptations where she's on drugs or when she's hallucinating or mentally ill or whatever the hell. I want the adaptation where it's Dark Souls and she goes into Lordran and she meets all the bosses and funny characters and none of them kill her and they just have annoying conversations with her. That's what I want. That's what I fucking want. That's the ideal Dark. You know what? That's the ideal Dark Souls. I misspoke, but that is the ideal Dark Souls. That I want a Dark Souls mod where it's Alice and you don't have to fight anyone and you just have a weird conversation. Because you do. It's so much like it. You play Dark Souls and you talk. It's, oh my god! I'm just now. Oh my god! 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 It's like. You go and you do the thing, and you go and you fight the dude, and then you go to Firelink Shrine in Dark Souls 1, and there's the guy is there, you know? So many weird conversations in Dark Souls. You have the guy there who's like, you're never gonna make it anyway. Why would you even bother going to the bells? That guy is so fucking weird. That guy fits right in with Alice in Wonderland. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. Alice in Dark Souls. It's perfect. Wow. I can't believe how well that would work. That's crazy. Alice in Wonderland is a Dark Souls of children's film. No, I think that's more Watership Down, if we're being completely honest. But no, actually, you're right, because it's Dark Souls. Dark Souls isn't about the difficulty; it's about the setting and the vibe. And Alice in Wonderland much better encapsulates that vibe than Watership Down does, or does it? Now I'm wondering about that. What children's story does best encapsulate? I guess it is Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland truly is the Dark Souls of children's literature. You're so right. We uncovered something here tonight, everyone, together, and I'm happy that you were all that we managed to do this together. Alice in Wonderland is just Dark Souls. Yep, that's weird. Watership Down is like the Spec Ops of the line of children's friends. Yeah, you know, that's a pretty good one. That's good. Okay, let's get back to the book. As the knight sang the last words of the ballad, he gathered up the reins and turned his horse's head along the road by which he had come.
You've only a few yards to go, he said. Down the hill and over that little brook, and then you'll be a queen. But you'll stay and see me off first, he added, as Alice turned with an eager look in the direction to which he pointed. I shan't be wrong. You'll wait and wave your handkerchief when I get to that turn in the road. I think it'll encourage me, you see.
Of course I wait, said Alice, and thank you very much for coming so far, and for the song. I liked it very much. Yeah, it was pretty nice, even though I didn't sing it.
I hope so, the knight said doubtfully, but you didn't cry as much as I thought you would.
So they shook hands, and then the knight rode slowly away into the forest. It won't be long to see him off, I expect, Alice said to herself as she stood watching him. There he goes, right on his head as usual. However, he gets on again pretty easily. That comes of having so many things hung around the horse. So she went on, talking to herself, as she watched the horse walking leisurely along the road, and the knight tumbled off, first on one side and then on the other. After the fourth or fifth tumble, he reached the turn, and then she waved her handkerchief to him and waited till he was out of sight. I hope it encouraged him, she said, as she turned to turn down the hill. And now for the last brook, and to be a queen! Oh, how grand it sounds! A very few steps brought her to the edge of the brook. The 8th square at last, she cried as she bounded across and threw herself down to rest on a lawn as soft as moss, with little flower beds dotted about it here and there. Oh, how glad I am to be here! And what is this thing on my head? She exclaimed in a tone of dismay, as she put her hands up to something very heavy that fitted tight all around her head. But how can I have got here without my knowing? How can it have got here without my knowing it? She said to herself as she lifted it off and set it on her lap to make out what it could possibly be. It was a golden crown. And then she met me. I was there too. Because all the queens meet up. And so, like, I have to be there. Obviously, you know I have to be there. And they don't want me there. Because they're all like, oh, you have to be prim and proper. And I'm like, I broke a chair because I could. Chapter, did they do it right this time? Yes, they did it right. Chapter 9. 9. Don't mind. Okay, 9. Chapter 9. That kind of works. Chapter 9. That also works. Really weird 9. Chapter 9. Chapter 9. Queen Alice. Well, this is grand, said Alice in all caps. I never expected I should be a queen so soon. It's been like 2 weeks since we started reading this. This is not soon at all. And I'll tell you what it is, Your Majesty. She went on in a severe tone. She was always rather fond of scolding herself. It'll never do for you to be lolling about on the grass like that. Queens have to be dignified, you know. No, they don't. That's bullshit. So she got up and walked about, rather stiffly just at first, as she was afraid that the crown might come off. But she comforted herself with the thought there was nobody to see her. And if I really am a queen, she said as she sat down again, I shall be able to manage it quite well in time. Everything was happened so oddly that she didn't feel a bit surprised at finding the Red Queen and the White Queen sitting close to her, one on each side. She would have liked very much to ask them how they came there, but she feared it would not be quite civil. However, there would be no harm, she thought, in asking if the game was over. However, oh no, wait, please. Queens can do whatever they want. That's what it means to be a queen. That's fucking right, bitch. That's why I'm queen, because I do what I want. I said one day, I'm gonna be queen. And then I was. There's no, you know, like I'm from a video game, and lore, blah blah. And the lore, the game was scrapped, so it was never finished. So there was no real reason given as to why I'm a queen. And I'm also, like, in the lore of the game, I wasn't a real queen. I was a leader of a rebel faction fighting against an oppressive government and stuff. And I only called myself the queen. And I wasn't a real queen. Blah, blah, blah. But I'm pretty sure I just sort of decided I'm gonna be the queen. So you can just do that. You can just say, I'm a queen now. And then everyone's like, yeah, for sure, Your Majesty, for sure. Please, would you tell me, she began, looking timidly at the Red Queen.
Speak when you're spoken to,
the Queen sharply interrupted her. But if everybody obeyed that rule, said Alice, who was always ready for a little argument. Really, are you now? Because in previous situations, you've been quite hesitant to get into arguments and quite happy to change the subject when an argument might arise. Alice, you are quite contradictory. Quite. Saying quite a lot because of this fucking old English book. But if everybody obeyed the rule, said Alice, who was always ready for a little argument. And if you only spoke when you were spoken to, and the other person always waited for you to begin, you see, nobody would ever say anything. So that,
ridiculous,
cried the Queen.
Why, don't you see, child?
Here she broke off with a frown, and, after thinking for a minute, suddenly changed the subject of the conversation.
What do you mean by, if you really are a queen? What right have you to call yourself so? You can't be a queen, you know, till you've passed a proper examination. And the sooner we begin, the better.
I only said if, poor Alice pleaded in a piteous tone. The two queens looked at each other, and the Red Queen remarked with a little shudder,
She says she only said if.
If she said, but she said a great deal more than that, the White Queen moaned, wringing her hands. Oh, ever so much more than that.
So you did, you know,
the Red Queen said to Alice.
Always speak the truth. Think before you speak, and write it down afterwards.
I'm sure I didn't mean, Alice was beginning, but the Red Queen interrupted her impatiently.
That's just what I complain of. You should have meant. What do you suppose is the use of a child without any meaning?
Okay, Jesus.
That sounds so fucking bad. And a child... Wait. Even a joke should have some meaning. And a child's more important than a joke, I hope. You couldn't deny that if you'd have tried it with both hands.
I don't deny things with my hands, Alice objected.
Nobody said you did,
said the Red Queen.
I said you couldn't if you tried.
She's in that state of mind, said the White Queen, that she wants to deny something, only she doesn't know what to deny.
A nasty, vicious temper,
the Red Queen remarked, and then there was an uncomfortable silence for a minute or two. I love whenever Alice in Wonderland just becomes like so applicable to today's kinds of writing and stuff. Like, and then there was a really awkward silence. Yeah. The Red Queen broke the silence by saying to the White Queen, I invite you to Alice's dinner party this afternoon. The White Queen smiled feebly and said, oh no, wait, the Red Queen said it to the White Queen,
I invite you to Alice's dinner party this afternoon.
The White Queen smiled feebly and said, and I invite you. I didn't know I was having a party at all, said Alice, but if there is to be one, I think I ought to invite the guest.
We gave you the opportunity of doing it,
the Red Queen remarked,
but I dare say you've not had many lessons in manners yet.
Manners are not taught in lessons, said Alice. Lessons teach you to do sums and things of that sort. And then I had to take a moment to hydrate. Thank you, officer. I do need to hydrate a lot during the Book Nook streams. So again, thank you for looking out for me. Book. Read book. Where was I? I was over there somewhere. And I was right over... there. Manners are not taught in lessons, said Alice. Lessons teach you about sums and things of that sort. Can you do addition? The White Queen asked. What's 1 and 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 1? Okay, thanks, White Queen. I don't know, said Alice. I lost count.
She can't do addition,
the Red Queen interrupted.
Can you do subtraction? Take 9 from 8.
9 from 8? I can't, you know, Alice replied very readily, but...
She can't do subtraction!
Oh, no, wait. She can't do subtraction, said the White Queen. Can you do division? Divide a loaf by a knife. What's the answer to that? I suppose, Alice was beginning, but the Red Queen answered for her.
Bread and butter, of course. Try another subtraction sum. Take a bone from a dog. What remains?
Alice considered. The bone wouldn't remain, of course, if I took it, and the dog wouldn't remain. It would come to bite me, and I'm sure I shouldn't remain.
Then you think nothing would remain?
Said the Red Queen. 5? Is it 5? I don't think it's 5. Hold on. The one thing? We're gonna find out. 1 and 1. And 1 and 1 and 1. And 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. 10. 10? 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10. And 9 from 8 is just -1. Like, come on, it's not that hard. I guess it's before they had invented negativity. Everyone's just like positive and happy all the time back in those days. Things were negative yet as they are now. Truly, inventing negativity was the worst thing that humanity ever did. Then you think nothing would happen? I think that's the answer.
Wrong, as usual, said the Red Queen. The dog's temper would remain.
But I don't see how...
Why, look here,
the Red Queen cried.
The dog would lose its temper, wouldn't it?
Perhaps it would, Alice replied cautiously.
Then, if the dog went away, its temper would remain,
the Queen exclaimed triumphantly. I don't think... Oh, because it would lose its temper. Oh. Oh my god, it's a pun. I like that one, actually. Its temper. It would lose its temper, so the temper would remain. That's good. That's fucking nice. That's good. I like that. That's a good one. Alice said, as gravely as she could, they might go different ways. But she couldn't help thinking to herself, what a dreadful nonsense we are talking. She can't do sums a bit, the Queen said together with great emphasis. Can you do sums? Alice said, turning suddenly on the White Queen, for she didn't like being found fault with so much. The Queen gasped and shut her eyes. I can do addition, she said, if you give me time, but I can't do subtraction under any circumstances.
Of course you know your ABC,
said the Red Queen. To be sure I do, said Alice. So do I, the White Queen whispered. We'll often say it over together, dear, and I'll tell you a secret. I can read words of one letter. Isn't that grand? However, don't be discouraged. You'll come to it in time. Here the Red Queen began again.
Can you answer useful questions? She said. How is bread made?
I know that, Alice cried eagerly. You take some flour. Where do you pick the flour? The White Queen asked. In a garden or in the hedges? Well, it isn't picked at all, Alice explained. It's ground. How many acres of ground? Yeah, good puns. How many acres of ground? Said the White Queen. You mustn't leave out so many things.
Fan her head,
the Red Queen anxiously interrupted.
She'll be feverish after so much thinking.
So they set to work and fanned her with a bunch of leaves till she began to beg them to leave off. Ha ha ha! Another pun. It blew her hair about so.
She's all right now,
said the Red Queen.
Do you know languages? What's the French for fiddle-dee-dee?
What? Fiddle-dee-dee's not English, Alice replied gravely.
Whoever said that?
Said the Red Queen. Alice thought she saw a way out of the difficulty this time. If you tell me what language fiddle-dee-dee is, I'll tell you the French for it, she exclaimed triumphantly. But Red Queen drew herself up rather stiffly and said,
Queens never make bargains.
She wants to check if her brain is overheating from thinking. Yeah. So they fan it. Is that another pun? No, that's not a pun, is it? I don't think so. But the Queen drew herself up rather stiffly and said,
Queens never make bargains.
I wish queens never asked questions, Alice thought to herself. Don't let us quarrel, the White Queen said in an anxious tone. What is the cause of lightning? The cause of lightning, Alice said very decidedly, for she felt quite certain about this, is the thunder. No. She hastily corrected herself. I meant the other way.
It's too late to correct it, said the Red Queen. When you've once said a thing that fixes it, and you must take the consequences.
Which reminds me, the White Queen said, looking down and nervously clasping and unclasping her hands. We had such a thunderstorm last Tuesday. I mean, one of the last said... Oh, right. I mean, one of the last set of Tuesdays, because you get like all the... It's like earlier in the book they talk about like that it's just like they get like all a week that is just like all of the one day. That's a hard thing to explain, but they talk about Wednesday, like it's all Wednesdays, and before that they had Tuesdays. They just get like all of them in a row or something. It's very confusing.
Multi-Tuesday.
New holiday. Oh, hello, hand. Nope. Stop. Don't do that. Okay. Alice was puzzled. In our country, she remarked, there's only one day at a time. The Red Queen said, that's a poor, thin way of doing things. Now here, we mostly have days and nights, 2 or 3 at a time. Yeah, we talked about this already, didn't we? I thought we did with like Wednesday, whatever. We mostly have days, blah blah. And sometimes in the winter we take as many as 5 nights together for warmth, you know. Okay. Are 5 nights warmer than 1 night then? Alice ventured to ask. 5 times as warm, of course. But they could be 5 times as cold by the same rule. Just so, cried the Red Queen. 5 times as warm and 5 times as cold. Just as I'm 5 times as rich as you are and 5 times as clever. Fuck this bitch. Alice sighed and gave it up. It's exactly like a riddle with no answer, she thought. Humpty Dumpty saw it too, the White Queen went on in a low voice, more as if she were talking to herself. He came to the door with a corkscrew in his hand. What did he want? Said the Red Queen. He said he would come in, the White Queen went on, because he was looking for a hippopotamus. Now, as it happened, there wasn't such a thing in the house that morning. Is there generally? Alice asked in an astonished tone. 5 Nights at Freddy's is 80% shorter in Wonderland. 5 Night in Wonderland. Or in 5 Night at Freddy's. Is there? There's like a million. Okay, if someone can look this up for me, I would be very grateful. There's like a fucking billion 5 Nights at Freddy's clones with different characters and stuff. There's a SpongeBob version, for example. I'm wondering, is there an Alice in Wonderland version? Is that a thing? You know, where it's like, either it's animatronics of the Mad Hatter and the Red Queen and stuff, or it's just like, it's actually them and they're not animatronics. That's gotta be, right? That's gotta exist? It's gotta. It has to. But I'd like to know about it. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading for now. Is there generally? Alice asked in an astonished tone about hippopotamus, remember? Well, only on Thursdays, said the Queen. I know what he came for, said Alice. He wanted to punish the fish because... Here the White Queen began again. It was such a thunderstorm, you can't think. She never could, you know, said the Red Queen. As part of the roof came off, and ever so much thunder got in, and went rolling around the room in great lumps, and knocking over the tables and things, till I was so frightened I couldn't remember my own name. Alice thought to herself, I never should try to remember my name in the middle of an accident. Where would be the use of it? But she did not say this aloud, for fear of hurting the poor Queen's feelings.
Your Majesty must excuse her,
the Red Queen said to Alice, taking one of the White Queen's hands in her own and gently stroking it.
She means well, but she can't help saying foolish things, as a general rule.
The White Queen looked timidly at Alice, who felt she ought to say something kind, but really couldn't think of anything at the moment.
She was never really well brought up,
the Red Queen went on.
But it's amazing how good-tempered she is. Pat her on the head and see how pleased she'll be. Give her some head pets, like a VTuber.
But this was more than Alice had courage to do.
A little kindness and putting her hair in place.
Wait, is that Alice saying that? Who's saying that? I think Alice is saying that. A little kindness and putting her hair in papers. Putting her hair in papers? Like getting a perm? I don't understand that. And putting her hair in papers would do wonders for her. The White Queen gave a deep sigh and laid her head on Alice's shoulder. I am so sleepy, she moaned.
She's tired, poor thing,
said the Red Queen.
Smooth her hair, lend her your nightcap, and sing her a soothing lullaby.
I haven't got a nightcap with me, said Alice, as she tried to obey the first direction, and I don't know any soothing melodies or lullabies even. Give her a pet like a I didn't say like a VTuber. I said that because that's like a thing, you know? A lot of like VTubers have like a punchy reward for like, oh, give head pet. And then they have like a, well, sometimes nothing happens, but then sometimes they have like a hand, like the gif. You know the gif of the hand? Everyone puts it. Everyone takes like little characters. They take the little character or like a chibi representation of a character. They take that, and then they put the hand on it that goes like this, that like strokes the head. It's like they take that and they put it on their screen. It would be like here. It would be petting me. That's a thing. It's a thing. It does say give her head pets though. It says that. It says pet her head. It says that. Pet her on the head and see how pleased she'll be. It says that. It says that. It says that in the book. It says that. It says it. The head pet gift. Yeah, y'all know it. I haven't got a nightcap with me, said Alice, and as she tried to obey the first direction, and I don't know any soothing lullabies.
I must do it myself then, said the Red Queen, and she began. Hush-a-bye, lady, in Alice's lap. I've got a horrible singing voice. Till the feast's ready, we've time for a nap. When the feast's over, we'll go to the ball. A Red Queen and White Queen and Alice and all.
Did I do? Hush-a-bye, lady, in Alice's lap. Till the feast's ready, we've time for a nap. When the feast's over, we'll go to the ball. Red Queen and White Queen and Alice and all. Oh yeah, I guess it does work.
And now you know the words,
she added, as she put her head down on Alice's other shoulder.
Just sing it through to me. I'm getting sleepy too.
If you want a headbed, I don't mind. I wasn't the one asking for it. The White Queen asked for it. In another moment, both queens were fast asleep and snoring loud. What am I to do? Exclaimed Alice, looking about in great perplexity, as first one round head and then the other rolled down from her shoulder and lay like a heavy lump in her lap. I don't think it ever happened before that anyone had to take care of two queens asleep at once. No, not in all the history of England, because that's the only country that I know in existence. It couldn't, you know, because there never was more than one queen at a time. That is a good point. Do wake up, you heavy things, she went on in an impatient tone, but there was no answer but a gentle snoring. Let me look for my hand for head petting. You have a special hand for that? That's pretty cool. I'm a connoisseur of hands, so I think that's cool. That's good. Have a special hand that's like specifically caters to head petting, right softness and gentleness and stuff. That'd be good to have a special head petting hand. The snoring got more distinct every minute and sounded more like a tune. At last she could even make out words, and she listened so eagerly that when the two great heads suddenly vanished from her lap, she hardly missed them. She was standing before an arched doorway over which the words Queen Alice in large letters, and on each side of the arch there was a bell handle. One was marked Visitor's Bell and the other Servant's Bell. I'll wait till the song's over, thought Alice, and then I'll ring the... Which bell must I ring? She went on, very puzzled by the names. I'm not a visitor, I'm not a servant. There ought to be one marked Queen, you know. Just then the door opened a little way, and a creature with a long beak put its head out for a moment and said,
No admittance till the week, so we can... No admittance till the week after next!
And shut the door again with a bang. Oh my god, wait, did you actually... Are you making a fucking... Are you using the... Are you making like a head pet gif of me? Is that what you're doing? That's very sweet of you. If that is what you're doing, then I appreciate that very much. Of you going out of your way to do that for me. With little me. Alice knocked and rang in vain for a long time, but at very last, a very old frog who was sitting under a tree got up and hobbled slowly towards her. He was dressed in bright yellow and had enormous boots on.
What is it now?
The frog said in a deep, hoarse whisper. Alice turned round, ready to find fault with anybody. Where's the servant whose business it is to answer the door? She began angrily.
Which door?
Said the frog. Alice almost stamped with irritation at the slow crawl in which he spoke. Oh, sorry.
Which door?
This door, of course. She's gonna snap. She's finally had enough of Wonderland, this weird, annoying place. She's gonna snap, and she's gonna start she's gonna break the door. Like a real queen. This door, of course. The frog looked at the door with his large, dull eyes for a minute. Then he went nearer and rubbed it with his thumb. Thumb. The thumb is hard to move because of where the camera is. Anyway, the frog looked at the door with his and rubbed it with his thumb as if he were trying whether the paint would come off. Then he looked at Alice.
To answer the door?
He said.
What's it been asking of?
Shut up. He was so hoarse that Alice could scarcely hear him. I don't know what you mean, she said.
I speak English. I speaks English, don't I?
The frog went on.
Or are you deaf? What did it ask you?
Nothing, Alice said impatiently. I've been knocking at it.
Shouldn't do that.
The frog muttered.
Vexes it, you know.
Then he went up and gave the door a kick with one of his great feet.
You let it alone.
He panted about as he hobbled back to his tree.
And it'll let you alone, you know.
Why'd you kick the door then? At this moment the door was flung open and a shrill voice was heard singing. To the looking glass world, that it was Alice that said, I've a scepter in head and I've a crown on my head. I'm not doing a shrill voice because, again, these are like long bits of text and it's like hard to do, you know. I've a crown on my head. Let the looking glass creatures, whatever they be, come and dine with the Red Queen, the White Queen, and me. And hundreds of voices join in the chorus. Then fill up the glasses as quick as you can and sprinkle the table with buttons and bran. Put cats in the coffee and mice in the tea. And welcome Queen Alice with 30 times 3. That's... No? Yeah. 90. That's 90. Then followed a confused noise of cheering, and Alice thought to herself, 30 times 3 makes 90. Yes, I was right. I wonder if anyone's counting. In a minute there was a silence again, and the same shrill voice sang another verse. Oh, looking glass creatures, quote Alice, draw near. 'Tis an honor to see me, a favor to hear. 'Tis a privilege high, and to have dinner and tea, along with the Red Queen, the White Queen, and me. Then came the chorus again. Then fill up the glasses with treacle and ink, or anything else that is pleasant to drink. So not ink, and also not treacle, I think. Mix sand with the cider and wool with the wine, and welcome Queen Alice with 90 times 9, which is a more difficult sum. 810. No. Yes. Isn't it? 810? 90 times 9? I think that's 810. Also, thank you very much, Glean Clonk and Officer. I have hydrated and checked my posture. 810, got it again. Hey, that rhymes. That's fun. 90 times 9, Alice repeated in despair. Oh, that'll never be done. I'd better go in at once. And in she went, and there was a dead silence the moment she appeared. Alice glanced nervously along the table as she walked up the large hall and noticed that there were about 50 guests of all kinds, plural. Some were animals, some birds, and there were even a flower among them. I'm glad they've come without waiting to be asked, she thought. I should never have known who were the right people to invite. There were 3 chairs at the head of the table. The red and white queens had already taken 2 of them, but the middle one was empty. Alice sat down in it, rather uncomfortable with the silence and longing for someone to speak. At last, the red queen began, so I get to do her shrill voice again.
You've missed the stupid fish, she said. Put on the joint. Let's get high. Joint. Ha ha ha. Funny joke.
Finally posted on meme and media. Thank you very much, officer. I will look at it once the stream is done. And again, I appreciate you going out of your way for me. It's very kind. And I'm excited to see it also. Should I just do it now? Okay, I'll do it now because then I can show it on stream. Okay. The annotated Alice is in the way of the cursor. Doo-dee-doo. Where is it? Oh. That's not what I thought. Wait. Oh, thank God. I was looking at a different... I saw the petting hand first, your special petting hand, and I was a little creeped out. If I may be honest. But now I see the real thing. And it doesn't animate. Fuck. Ah. Okay. Well. But you made it. Hold on. I'll save it. I'll save it. This should work. Now it works. Yay! Thank you so much. It's very cute. Thank you. I like that. Thank you. Now I have to get the book out of the way again. And I get the book back, the other book. I'll leave that there for the rest of the stream, I guess. At last the red queen began.
You've missed the stupid fish, she said. Put on the joint.
And the waiters set a leg of mutton before Alice, who looked at it rather anxiously, as she had never had to carve a joint before. Oh, joint, like the joint of a joint. From like a joint from a body. I get it now. I get it. And the waiters and
You look a little shy. Let me introduce you to that leg of mutton,
said the red queen.
Alice, mutton, Alice.
Oh yeah, go carve that joint. The herb type? No, sadly not. The limb, the thing where the bendy bit. That's it. It's the bendy bit. The bendy bit of a limb. That's it. The leg of mutton got up in the dish and made a little bow to Alice, and Alice returned the bow, not knowing whether to be frightened or amused. May I give you a slice? She said, taking up the knife and fork and looking from one queen to the other.
Certainly not,
the red queen said, very decidedly.
It isn't etiquette to cut anyone you've been introduced to. Remove the joint.
And the waiters carried it off and brought a large plum pudding in its place. I won't be introduced to the pudding, please, Alice said rather hastily, or we shall get no dinner at all. May I give you some? But the red queen looked sulky and growled.
Pudding, Alice, pudding. Remove the pudding.
I'm pretty much of the VTubers that ask for head pets. I always ask you to hand, but I didn't even ask. I didn't ask for head pets. The red queen said the white queen should get head pets. I'm not the white queen. I'm the gauntlet queen. It's a clear distinction. That said, I appreciate it, but I didn't ask. This was your gift to me that you did out of complete selflessness, and not because I asked. There was no obligation to do it, and you did it. That's important. Thank you. Thank you, Revolver. and the waitress took it away so quickly that Alice couldn't return its bow. It had a bow? You had a bow? You had its bow? Why did you grab its bow? Whatever. However, she didn't see why the Red Queen should be the only one to give orders. So, as an experiment, she called out, "Waiter, bring back the pudding." And there it was again in a moment, like a conjuring trick. It was so large that she couldn't help feeling a little shy with it, and as she had been with the mutton. However, she conquered her shyness by a great effort and cut a slice and handed it to the Red Queen.
What impertinence,
said the pudding.
I wonder how you'd like it if I were to cut a slice out of you, you creature.
Hi, hello Ellie. Hi. Good to see you. How you doing? Everyone say hey. I shouldn't do that, but I like it when chat talks to each other instead of only me. I think that's nice. But it's not sincere if I tell you to do it. So you should do it. But not because I told you to. Don't talk to each other. Don't do it. And now do talk to each other though, right? But then it's like you're not doing it because I told you to. Because I told you not to. But you do it. And then you're doing it just because it's nice. How's it going, everyone? And you're good? You're good. That's very good. We're nearing the end of the book. That's how it's going. With me, anyway. It spoke in a thick, suety sort of voice, which I assume I was doing. And Alice hadn't a word to say in reply. She could only sit and look at it and gasp.
Make a remark, said the Red Queen. It's ridiculous to leave all the conversation to the pudding.
Do you know, I've had such a quantity of poetry repeated to me today, Alice began, a little frightened at finding that the moment she opened her lips, there was dead silence and all eyes were fixed upon her. And it's a very curious thing, I think. Every poem was about fishes in some way. Were they? Hold on. Oysters. Yelling at fish. Not all of them, right? Hold on. When did she go talk to Tweedledee and Tweedledum? When you think about it, everything is a fish. I mean, you are correct about that. We all come from fish, so aren't we just still fish? Okay, Tweedledee, Tweedledum is the oysters, and then blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. Does a goat do it, or it's a sheep actually? Nope, Humpty Dumpty. No, but what? Okay, Humpty Dumpty has a poem. It's about fish, yes. But then the night. Enjoy your food, Green Clonk. What are humans if not swimmers of air? Well, what are they if not the crabs of the land? Because we are on the land. We're at the bottom of the air, right? Crabs are at the bottom of the ocean. We're at the bottom of the sky. Blah blah blah. Okay, here comes the night. Blah blah blah. Okay, so he's talking to the old man. Is there any mention of fish in here? Crabs! It mentions crabs. It is always about fish. Even if it is only for one single word and no others. Oh no, wait, haddocks! Haddocks are fish too, aren't they? Or are they birds? What are haddocks? What's a mountain rail? Haddock is fish. Yes, yeah. And then mountain rail is not a fish, but there can be fish in it, I think. Because it is water. Yeah, it could, well, it'd be kind of hard. It's a very, very shallow little creek. I think it'd be quite difficult for any fish to live in that. But it is maybe possible, and it is water, and it's like a rivery kind of thing. It's related to fish. It's all about fish. Oh my god. It is all about fish all the time. That's kind of amazing. What a fun revelation. Every poem was about fishes in some way. It's true, I checked. Do you know why they're so fond of fishes all about here? She spoke to the Red Queen, whose answer was a little wide of the mark. As to fishes, she said, very slowly and solemnly, putting her mouth close to Alice's ear for some reason. Her White Majesty knows a lovely riddle. All in poetry, all about fishes. Shall she repeat it? Her Red Majesty is very kind to mention it, the White Queen murmured into Alice's other ear. Why are they so close to their ears? That's weird. In a voice like the cooing of a pigeon. It would be such a treat. May I? Please do, Alice said very politely. The White Queen laughed with delight and stroked Alice's cheek. What the fuck? Why are these people being so weird? First, the fish must be caught. That is easy. A baby, I think, could have caught it. Next, the fish must be bought. That is easy. A penny, I think, could have bought it. Now cook me the fish. That is easy, and will not take more than a minute. Let it lie in a dish. That is easy, because it already is in it. Bring it here. Let me sup. It is easy to set such a dish on the table. Take the dish. Cover up. Ah, that is so hard that I fear I'm unable. For it holds... It like glue holds the lid to the dish while it lies in the middle. Which is easiest to do? Undish cover the fish or dish cover the riddle? Or discover the riddle? What? So this is a riddle. First, the fish must be caught. That is easy. We're going to do this together, Chad. We're going to do this together. And then probably we're going to find out that it's some complete bullshit answer or doesn't even give the answer because this is Alice from Wonderland. First, the fish must be caught. That is easy. A baby, I think, could have caught it. Next, the fish must be bought. That is easy. A penny, I think, would have bought it. Now cook me the fish. That is easy. And will not take more than a minute. Let it lie in a dish. That is easy because it is already in it. Bring it here, let me sup, as in supper. It is easy to set such a dish on the table. Take the dish, cover up. Like the cover that is on the dish. You know? You know when they're like, here is dinner, I put it down on the table. It's got a giant silvery half globe on it and a little thing and I take it off. Ta-da! Bon appetit. You know that? I think that's what the dish cover is, right? I think that's the idea here. And that is so hard that I fear I'm unable. For it holds it like glue, holds the lid to the dish, while it lies in the middle, which is easiest to do. Okay. So the question is, which is easiest to do? Undish cover the fish. So take the dish cover of the dish which holds the fish, or discover the riddle. But when you say discover the riddle, do you mean like discover the answer to the riddle, or just find the riddle? Because we figured out what the riddle is, right? So does that mean that's the easiest? I mean, in any case, I'd say that's definitely easier than taking the dish off taking the dish cover off the dish which holds the fish, because that one's not real. You can't actually do that. But like, what logic are we playing with here? Like, what do they want from us? What do y'all think? Uh-oh, hiccup. Oh my god! Oh no, I can't see the name. No. Turbo Marissa. Hi, thanks so much for following. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. I'm actually gonna hide this one now. Thank you very much for following. I hope you enjoy your time here. Taking a dish cover off requires physical effort, so discovering a riddle is easier. I rarely think that's valid. The one that doesn't hurt my brain. We're all the same here, aren't we? I mean, I did think about it, but I guess I'm saying it's discovering the riddle. Reach beach reward. Oh my god! Have fun being. We got a fucking Glyph comments a fucking reach beach. Have fun being muted for 10 minutes. Enjoy. That's a real reward we have, by the way, because I don't have enough good rewards. So I have one for when you're rich. You go to Reach Beach, which means you're muted for 10 minutes. Isn't that fun? I should get rid of it because it's funny, but it seems a bit rude, doesn't it? Anyway, take a minute. Let's get the answer. Take a minute to think about it. Oh no, wait.
Take a minute to think about it, and then guess,
said the Red Queen. We did take a minute several minutes, in fact, I would say.
Meanwhile, we'll drink to your health. Queen Alice's health.
She screamed at the top of her voice. Oh, wait.
Queen Alice's health!
She screamed at the top of her voice, and all the guests began drinking it directly. And very queerly, they managed it, because they were all gay, because they're queer. Some of them put their glasses upon their heads like extinguishers and drank all that trickled down their faces. Others upset the decanters and drank the wine as it ran off the edge of the table. And 3 of them, who looked like kangaroos, which again is an exotic animal that Alice probably has never actually interacted with. All those points wasted in brain. I didn't. Bane? All those points wasted in Bane? All those hydrates and posture checks and street wasted. Really though, you could have helped me get hydrated and well postured and stretched so good. Or you could have saved them up for the next Book Nook community reward, which is gonna be after the stream. Ooh. It's gonna be 750,000 points, I think, or it's gonna be a 1.5 as much as the last one anyway, which I think was 50,000. Anyway, you could have saved it for that, but now you can't. Anyway. And 3 of them, who looked like kangaroos, scrambled into the dish of roast mutton and began eagerly lapping up the gravy. Just like pigs in a trough, thought Alice.
You ought to return thanks in a neat speech,
the Red Queen said, frowning at Alice as she spoke. Welcome back, Grinklang. Hi. And thank you, officer, for keeping me hydrated once more. Good sippy.
You ought to return thanks in a neat speech,
the Red Queen said, frowning at Alice as she spoke. We must support you, you know, the White Queen whispered, as Alice got up to do it, very obediently, but a little frightened. Thank you very much, she whispered in reply, but I can do quite well without. What was I gonna say?
That wouldn't be at all the thing,
the Red Queen said very decidedly. So Alice tried to submit to it with a good grace. And they did push so, she said afterwards when she was telling her sister the history of the feast. You would have thought they wanted to squeeze me flat. In fact, it was rather difficult for her to keep in her place while she made her speech. The 2 queens pushed her so, one on each side, and they nearly lifted her up into the air. I rise to return thanks, Alice began, and she really did rise as she spoke, several inches, but she got hold of the edge of the table and managed to pull herself down again. Take care of yourself, screamed the White Queen, seizing Alice's hair and with both hands. Stop grabbing her hair! Something's going to happen. And then, as Alice afterwards described it, all sorts of things happened in a moment. The candles all grew up to the ceiling, looking something like a bed of rushes with fireworks at the top. As to the bottles, they each took a pair of plates, which they hastily fitted on as wings, and so, with forks for legs, went fluttering about in all directions. And very like birds they look, Alice thought to herself, as well as she could in the dreadful confusion that was beginning. At this moment she heard a hoarse laugh at her side, and turned to see what was the matter with the White Queen, but instead of the Queen, there was the leg of mutton sitting in the chair.
Here I am,
said the... I don't remember if that was the voice I gave to the mutton, but who cares? Cried a voice from the soup tureen. Oh no, it's a different character. And Alice turned again, just in time to see the Queen's broad, good-natured face grinning at her for a moment over the edge of the tureen before she disappeared into the soup. There was not a moment to be lost. Already several of the guests were lying down in the dishes, and the soup ladle was walking up the table towards Alice's chair and beckoning to her impatiently to get out of its way. I can't stand this any longer, Alice cried as she jumped up and seized the tablecloth with both hands. One good pull, and plates, dishes, guests, and candles came crashing down together in a heap on the floor. And as for you, she went on, turning fiercely upon the Red Queen, whom she considered as the cause of all the mischief, but the Queen was no longer at her side. She had suddenly dwindled down to the size of a little doll, and was now on the table, merrily running round and round around her own shawl, which was trailing behind her. At any other time, Alice would have felt surprised by this, but she was far too much excited to be surprised by anything now. As for you, she repeated, catching hold of the little creature in the very act of jumping over a bottle, which had just alighted upon the table, I'll shake you into a kitten, I will. Chapter 10. Yeah, I can do that one. Shaking. She took her off the table as she spoke. Hi, 10. This shit got crazy. I love how it just goes fucking wild at the end. I love it. For no reason, because it's Alice in Wonderland. She took her off the table as she spoke and shook her backwards and forwards with all her might. We're sus about the chapter titles now. Actually, you know what? Let's check. No. I wasn't sus about it this time. I'm able to make this one in my hands. See, if I try to I can't do 9 because when my hand's so far away from the reader, it's hard to do. But 10 is easy. That's what it is. But you know what? I will check. Just to make sure. I will look in the annotated Alice in Wonderland and I will see if it is also number 10 in there. Oh yeah, they have the Wasp in the Wig here, I think. Most adaptations don't have that one. Oh wait, no, I went too far. I can tell you guys about the Wasp in the Wig. Actually, I can read... No, It's getting a little late. Can I read the Wasp in the Wig? I'll tell you about it in any case. Chapter 10. Yep. Wait, there was an annotation for 10. Hold on, I have to know what it is. Oh my god. Oh my god. What if it's important? Annotation. Okay, so it's 10. The American writer and critic Everett Bryler, on a front page article, Alice Through the Zodiac, makes a curious conjecture. Because Carroll stretched his second Alice book to 12 chapters by making this and the next chapter extremely short, is it possible he had the 12 zodiac signs in mind? For example, the Tweedle twins may allude to Gemini, the lion to Leo, the sheep to Aries, the goat to Capricorn, the white knight to Sagittarius, Humpty to Libra, and so on. Striking though, these correlations are few Carolians. That's fun, I'm a Carolian. I'm not. Have taken Bryler's conjecture seriously. They point out that Carroll had no interest in astrology and that he wanted his second Alice book to have the same number of chapters as the first. But that is a very fun little coincidence, though. That is very fun. Also, hi Cody. Hi. How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. So thank you for coming to the stream. I appreciate that very much. That is so fun. Is every chapter like a zodiac sign, is it? I'm gonna have to look into that after this. That's very interesting. I am having fun reading. We're almost done now. We've only got 3 more chapters to go, I think. Should be 3, yeah, because 12. How are you doing? So, chapter 10, shaking. I'm gonna keep reading while I wait for your answer. Chapter 10, shaking. She took her off the table as she spoke and shook her backwards and forwards with all her might. The Red Queen made no resistance whatsoever. Only her face grew very small and her eyes got large and green. And still, as Alice went on shaking her, she kept on growing shorter and fatter and softer and rounder and it really was a kitten after that. Chapter fucking 11. We're at chapter 11 now. Walking. It was literally just 1 page. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh god, I love this book. Chapter 12! Chapter 12. Which dreamt it? You can make a clip of that. You can put chapters 10 and 11 in a clip. Just... Yeah, I wish I could shake annoying people into kittens. That'd be nice. Then they'd just be annoying kittens, and those are cute. Hey, Glefko's back. Hi, Glefko. How was the Reach Beach? Your Red Majesty shouldn't purr so loud, Alice said. It was nice. Good. Alice said, rubbing her eyes and addressing the kitten respectfully, yet with some severity. You woke me up out of, such a nice dream, and you've been along with me, kitty, all through the Looking-Glass world. Did you know it, dear? It is a very inconvenient habit of kittens, Alice had once made the remark, that whatever you say to them, they always purr. If they would only purr for yes and meow for no, or any rule of that sort, she had said, so that one could keep up a conversation. But how can you talk with a person if they always say the same thing? On this occasion, the kitten only purred, and it was impossible to guess whether it meant yes or no. So Alice hunted among the chessmen on the tables till she had found the Red Queen. Then she went down on her knees on the hearthrug and put the kitten and the queen to look at each other. Now, kitty, she cried, clasping her hands triumphantly, confess that was what you turned into. But it wouldn't look at it, she said, when she was explaining the thing afterwards to her sister. It turned away its head and pretended not to see it. But it looked a little ashamed of itself, so I think it must have been the Red Queen. Sit up a little more stiffly, dear, Alice cried with a merry laugh, and curtsy while you're thinking what to purr. It saves time, remember? Fun little callback to the beginning of the book. And she caught it up and gave it one little kiss, just in honor of its having been a Red Queen. Snowdrop, my pet, she went on, looking over her shoulder at the white kitten, which was still patiently undergoing its toilet? Oh, clean. It was getting cleaned. That was called toilet back in the day? Like at the beginning of the book, it's getting cleaned by the mommy kitty, Dana, from the first book. They call that toilet? How did cleaning become using the relieving oneself? How did that become the toilet? How'd that happen? I wonder. Which was still patiently undergoing its toilet. Well, will Dana have finished with your white majesty, I wonder? That must be the reason you were so untidy in my dream. Dana, do you know you're scrubbing a white queen? Really, it's most disrespectful of you. Victorian England was weird. Yeah. Now they're a different kind of weird. And what did Dana turn to, I wonder? She prattled on, so as she settled comfortably down, with one elbow on the rug and her chin in her hand, to watch the kittens. Tell me, Dana, did you turn to Humpty Dumpty? I think you did. However, you'd better not mention it to your friends. Just yet, for I'm not sure. By the way, kitty, if only you'd been really within my dream, there was one thing you would have enjoyed. I saw such a quantity of poetry said to me, all about fishes. Tomorrow morning you shall have a real treat. All the time you're eating your breakfast, I'll repeat the walrus and the carpenter to you, and then you can make believe it's oysters, dear. Now, kitty, let's consider who it was that dreamt all this. This is a serious question, my dear, and you should not go on licking your paw like that, as if Dana hadn't washed you this morning. You see, Kitty, it must have been either me or the Red King. He was part of my dream, of course, but then I was part of his dream too. It's very complicated. You need a high IQ to get it. Christopher Nolan would love this. Who was it, the Red Queen, Kitty? You were his wife, my dear, so you ought to know. Oh, Kitty, do help me settle it. I'm sure your paw can wait. But the provoking kitten only began on the other paw and pretended it hadn't heard the question. Which do you think it was? I ask you, the viewer. And then there is a poem, one more poem, one more little poem to finish off the night, and then I will bid you all goodbye. Good to know Christopher Nolan is canon in Alice in Wonderland. Very much so. A boat beneath a sunny sky, lingering onward dreamily. In an evening of July, children three that nestle near, eager eye and willing ear, pleased a simple tale to hear. Long has paled that sunny sky, echoes fade and memories die. Autumn frost has slain July. Still she haunts me, phantom wise, Alice moving under skies, never seen by waking eyes. Children yet the tale to hear, eager eye and willing ear, lovingly shall nestle near. In a wonderland they lie, dreaming as the days go by, dreaming as the summers die, ever drifting down the stream, lingering in the golden gleam. Life, what is it but a dream? The end. And there we go. Now we have read not only Alice through Alice's adventures in Wonderland, but also the much beloved sequel, but less well-known sequel, because nobody ever uses that name, Alice Through the Looking Glass. And I read it all to you, my lovely audience, who I appreciate so very much, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. I do. Thank you, though. Like, for real, thank you. I do appreciate that. I hope you all had a very nice time. And now, of course, not only is it time for me to say bye, and also plug my social medias and whatever the hell, but also to I have to set up the next book Nook community punchy goal. Thank you for the stream. Shame I came in at the very end, but it was still lovely. Thank you. I'm glad you were here at least for a little bit of it. And Queen Clunk, are you kissing my biceps? Is that what you're doing with those emotes? Oh yeah, Sam, thank you very much for the social link. These are my socials in chat. They are links. You can click them. You can follow me on Twitter and Tumblr, where I post dumb shit and make shit posts and memes. You can also join our Discord, where I announce streams ahead of time. I actually also do that on Twitter now, where I announce streams ahead of time, and we talk about all sorts of stuff. And you can share any fun things that you make. You can share photos of your pets, and art that is not related to the stream, or art that is related to the stream, or funny memes. Did I say that already? I might have. Anyway, it's a really good time. I would love to have you there. Yeah, again, thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate you. And I hope you'll have a lovely rest of your day or night or whatever. And I hope to see you on the next stream, which is planned for Thursday. I don't know what it'll be yet. Well, it's gonna be Thursday, right? I think, yep. Next Thursday. Gonna have another stream, probably some sort of stream with co-hosts. We don't know what we're gonna do yet, but it'll be a good time, and I hope to see you there. Okay, so yeah, thank you all so very much for coming, and bye. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.